This is the 20th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good evening, and welcome to an exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk about bass fishing. Yes, it is Bassmaster Open Week on Lake Eufaula in Eufaula, Oklahoma. Fortunately, that is only about an hour and 10 minutes from the house, so I practiced today, yesterday, and Sunday, but got off the water and then headed back home to the studio for an evening show. And this originally wasn't going to be live. We'll bring him in just right off the hopper here. This originally wasn't going to be live, but if you listen to the BTL episode that we did with Thomas Allen from In Fisherman, that Matt Stefan came on to talk about how honored he was to be in Fisherman, and he was only supposed to be on for like 10 minutes. Well, an hour and a half later, we ended up with this convoluted plan. What did it start out as, Matt? Thanks for jumping on this evening. I greatly appreciate it, by the way.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do have a ton of work to do. So it started out as I was on the In Fisherman website, and I was like, holy cow, they still have the Master Anglers, which the Master Angler Awards, at least for me growing up, like every fish I caught from the ages of probably 9 to 15, that was, you know, when you're fighting it, the thought crosses my mind, I wonder if this is a Master Angler fish. Were you the same way?
Yeah, if you grew up in the Midwest, you determined whether or not the fish you caught were big by what the Master Angler Award length limit or pound limit was. So, you know, if I went out and I caught, you know, and it was almost always like, especially if you caught a new fish for the first time. Like I remember the first time I caught like a dogfish for the first time, and I went back and I looked, and I was actually disappointed because it wasn't a Master Angler category, and I was like, I've never caught one of these, so I don't even know if it's a big one or not, right? So it was a good way as an angler to go back and look at it and be like, yeah, that was a really big fish, or it wasn't a big fish. And I mean, right. I always remember too looking at some of the other regions and just being like, I can't even imagine a 10-pound bass, like a 24-inch bass, or, you know, whatever. Yeah, 24-inch. I mean, that's
it's a
yeah.
joke.
It was the Midwestern anglers grew up within fishermen. That was our resource for multi-species. That, you know, the Lindner family, you know, Al, Ron, Jim, Doug Stange, all those guys. Those were the guys that we watched growing up and learned from.
100%. So they have this list on In Fisherman, and it's got 28 species on it. It's got different regions. We'll show about it. This is not a normal BTL. This is literally what Matt and I were going to do off air for the next 3 months as we prepare for this quest that we're going to explain. And I said, well, screw it. I got to come back and film a show with Uncle Frank that's going to air on Thursday. Because like I said on the show with Frank, I ain't making any money fishing the open, so I better make sure I'm still doing the podcast. So I drove home to record the show with Frank. And then I said, dude, we're overdue. We got to get this thing going. Let's just do it live. Just a Bill O'Reilly moment. We'll do it live. You remember that when we'll do it live.
Yeah.
So back to the challenge. So I've got 28 species. I'm going to pick it up from here.
Yeah, I mean, well, it really came down to, we wanted to do it live to get some help from the viewers too, you know, as to what the viewers would like to see when we go ahead and try this challenge, as well as like, hey guys, if you've got a good place to go catch a 30-inch channel catfish, if you live in region 1, we'd love to know about it. Like there's a bunch of species on here where I feel like we've got a pretty good, you know, handle on where we can go get these. But there's a bunch of species on here that I couldn't tell you where we would go.
Yeah.
I mean,
so the challenge is we're going to take a week in either mid to late October, early November, somewhere around that time frame. We're going to spend 10 days Matt and I, Bartuzek Media, Adam Bartuzek from the Crappie Chronicles, is going to document the whole thing. He's going to be along with us for the journey. We're going to bring all of our listeners and viewers on both your platform and the BTL platform and everything all along as we spend, how many hours are in 10 days? 10 times 24, 240 hours.
Yeah.
As we spend 240 hours, 10 consecutive days straight, coast to coast, utilizing BTL fans, listeners, your contacts through all of your years in the professional fishing landscape and your YouTube presence, sponsor connections, everything at our disposal, live bait, because that's what In Fisherman is all about. It's about connection. It's about experience. It's about catching fish, doing things that are unique, hanging out with guys who are better at it than you are, like the whole 9 yards. And our goal, and we're going to say it right now, is to knock out all 28 species of master angler, weight or length for that region in the 10-day time frame. And we're going to bring it along and document everything, do live BTLs every night, drop videos on your YouTube channel every single day. And then a couple months later, Bart's going to put together an epic 5-6 part series, or maybe just a 2-hour special. Who knows how we're going to do it? That's kind of what we have to talk about way down the road, because we kind of have to just kind of get some groundwork. So before we get into our discussion tonight, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, I kind of feel like the most important thing is to try to figure out logistics in terms of, where to start to knock out multiple species. Because if we're talking about 28 species in 10 days, we got to catch, 3 Master Angler awards a day between the two of us. So let's be clear. This is, you and I are a team, right? So if you catch it, we're good. Okay.
100%.
So, I think logistically, it's really going to come down to where can we knock out a bunch of different species in a single day. And then the hard part's going to be, how do we figure out to get from one region or from one area to another area without wasting a ton of time? I do think airfare is going to be our friend in this case. The problem with that, though, is I don't know how we're going to take all our tackle, and then we don't have a boat. So it's like, if we might have to have boats lined up in different places if we fly to one region just for a day and then fly back and grab your boat or my boat. Like, listeners, viewers that can pick us up at an airport, take us to a launch ramp where we have someone waiting on us with a boat in the water. Like, that's the type of stuff we're going to have to make this feasible. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's the truth, Matt. I mean, Matthew Weimer on here says, no way it's possible. We can do it. We can do it. I feel like we can do it. It's a matter of planning and figuring out where we need to go. I will say the problem with airfare is if there's bad weather, that could screw the whole thing up.
It 100% could. That becomes part of the story. That's just something we're going to have to deal with and just roll with it. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just it. You can't affect that. So I think the best place to start is you have to figure out because we have to have the highest, before you get into the logistics, we have to figure out where it's possible, what it's possible to do. So, when I talked to you last week on the phone, I thought the best thing to do was to go through each species, figure out which region is most like, and just regardless of where it is, it doesn't matter where it is. We just need to make a list for each species of where you can catch the fastest master angler of that species, and then take that and then cluster it, bundle it together, and then we can work on logistics from there.
So I agree with that. The first question I have for you, should we make this by region? Should we pick a region and say that's the region we're choosing to do this in? Because I kind of think it would be cooler to knock it all out in one region. Because there's going to be yahoos out there that are like, well, you guys went all over the country to the best lakes possible, and therefore it doesn't count. I feel like I feel like if we stuck to one region logistically, that might be easier. And two, I think maybe next year we do region 2 or region 3 and go from there.
Okay. That I never even thought about that. That might even help our travel too. Okay, so here's the species right here. So here are the regions that we're working with. And I'm going to read this for the iTunes listeners. So region 1 is, oh God, they actually don't have a list of it. I'm going to have to do names. Let's see if you think I can do this. You think I can name every state without the name on it?
You're going to struggle in the Northeast.
North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia,
Virginia.
No, this is Virginia. That's in region 1.
Oh, Maryland. Sorry.
Yeah, Maryland. I got that. Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, New York, Delaware, Connecticut, Vermont, Rhode Island, and Maine, and Massachusetts.
That's probably won't go to Massachusetts.
That's region 1. Region 2, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, North Carolina, and Virginia. I think I'm going to do this, Matt. Don't you? I think I know every state just by their shape.
I'm so proud of you.
I've got all the boxes out west. Let's see if I could do that.
Next, we'll do capitals.
Region 3. Oh, I used to know all those too. Yeah, New Jersey's in there in region 1 too. Yeah, I did screw that up. So region 3 is California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Utah, New Mexico, Nevada, Colorado, and Wyoming. Winner.
Yeah.
Region 4 is all interior Canada and Alaska. And then region 5 is the Great Lakes and tributaries.
So that's a question I have though. So the Great Lakes is its own region?
Yes. Look, here's region 5 right here. Great Lakes and tributaries. So region 5 has all these species, but like region 5 doesn't have a chain pickerel. Region 5 doesn't have a blue cat. Region 5 doesn't have a red ear sunfish, a hybrid striped bass, a striped bass, or a spotted bass. But region 5 is Great Lakes and tributaries. We're going to be hard pressed to catch some of these species if we're only fishing the Great Lakes, and if weather is a factor with 10 days that time of year. Nightmare. Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% right. I don't even know that all of these species are in the Great Lakes. Is a saugeye in the Great Lakes? Are there sauger in the Great Lakes?
Apparently, in the tributaries.
I mean, what's a tributary? I mean, we could go up the Chicago River to the Cal-Sag to all the way up to the Illinois River to catch a saugeye, but that would be like, is that a tributary? Because it flows technically out of Lake Michigan? Because then that goes down to the Mississippi River.
Okay, so we need to make a list of questions for Thomas because he runs this, right?
Yeah, we got to get him on.
Do you have, just make a list so when we have him on, he can answer these questions. Yeah. Do you have good penmanship or the ability? I'm trying to run a show over here too at the same. Okay, so you got that. Okay.
I'm writing it down.
So questions would be, what do you consider a tributary of the Great Lakes, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I honestly feel like some of these fish are not in the Great Lakes, but I could be wrong.
I mean, some of them of that size are ridiculous.
So the question I have more so is if I'm fishing for smallmouth on Sturgeon Bay, that doesn't count as being in Wisconsin? That's then Great Lakes.
That would be a Great Lakes, I guess. That's a question we have to ask.
because like, I mean, I don't know that how, I don't think you could catch like, so for region 1, they've got Chinook, coho, brown trout, steelhead. Like, aren't they only, I mean, I know there's rainbow in other places.
Oh,
but
those are probably only in Great Lakes and tributaries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know that, like, to me, I think that those fall under both categories. But if you look at smallmouth, the smallmouth has to be 5.5 or 21 inches for the Great Lakes, or 5 and 20 inches for region 1. So it is different size wise.
Yeah, we have to clarify that, because I like your idea of a specific region. Like if we had a specific region, that would definitely help with travel. It would put things closer together. It would also eliminate some of the one-off species where you have to go somewhere to catch a freaking brook trout that's 19 inches long. Or a striped bass or something. You know what I mean?
Region 5 only has 21 species to get.
Yeah, that's the Great Lakes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it would be potentially easier to do that.
Unless there's 5 unicorn species there.
Well, the problem I have with this is like the little bit we've talked about this, the Great Lakes were going to play a big role for us.
Yeah. But I also agree that there's a lot of species on there that are only like found in the Great Lakes, and that touch all these states. I mean, you've got New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota that all touch a Great Lake.
Well, and so look at Chinook salmon. Look at region 1 for Chinook salmon is 20 pounds or 36 inches. But for the Great Lakes, it's 28 pounds or 40 inches. Where I don't think there are Chinook salmon anywhere outside the Great Lakes in region 1. I mean, maybe I'm missing something here, but
let me text Thomas. I'm going to text him.
Yeah, I'm writing notes. Sorry for the dead air, folks.
I don't think he's a big... yeah, I did this on top of the Stanley Cup Finals. I got it on there. Sorry. Should I just call him?
Well, I mean, he might have soccer with his kids or something tonight. I don't know that you need to pull him on.
Soccer at 8:30 at night?
It is kind of critical to our discussion here.
I texted him. We'll see if he responds. Why aren't you wearing your In Fisherman hat?
Oh, it's upstairs. Do you want me to get it?
I mean, it would be kind of cool if we were both wearing our In Fisherman hat while we're talking about our Master Angler quest, right?
All right. I'm going to text my manager, have her run it down for me. She's probably listening.
Okay. Yeah, people are looking at this. So someone was saying, is there a difference between like a tributary? I already called Travis Manson. He tried to tell me to buy 3-year supply of water and 30 cans of potted meat to survive the next apocalypse.
Well, are you doing that too? I'm thinking about that.
Stockpiling?
Yeah.
You want to go halves on one of those? Did you see that military thing that has like all the bunkers on it, and then they sold them all to preppers, and everyone there's like 200 underground bunkers in one. There you go. There's like 200 underground bunkers in one. Sarah didn't want to be on camera, so she tossed it to you like that.
Yeah, she was topless.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't. We were looking at getting a generator the other day too.
I need to get a generator.
So I mean, if you're gonna have
apparently do the show during a freaking F5.
The show must go on. All All
All
right.
right. So that's a
back
critical
on
question.
track.
If you have the questions about that, that's a critical question that we have to have answered.
Yeah.
What is the difference between like the regions and how do you do that? Like if we wanted to pick, like obviously we want to pick region 1, right?
I mean, I think region 1 gives us our best chance just based on the knowledge that both of us have.
Now,
And
unfortunately, region 1 has every freaking species in it.
yeah. Well, I mean, if we're going to go after this, we should go big, right? So but it's not necessarily a bad thing because the lakes that are, I mean, there's more species, but a lot of the lakes, at least in my neck of the woods, that have big master angler caliber fish have multiple species of master angler fish.
Right.
So, like, I mean, in some of these cases, you and I could be fishing for master anglers of different species in the same spot.
So, like, you're throwing a musky plug and I'm drop shotting.
Yeah, I mean, there's potential to catch walleye, muskie, and smallmouth all in the same spot that time of year in the fall.
That is a problem though, because we were gonna use a lot of the Great Lake. Yeah, we have to combine. I think our best bet, but then the region 5, the inches and stuff is so ridiculously bigger. I think we have to combine region 1 and region 5.
Like, so to start, we just all regions fair game. We just gotta we're going for all 28 species. Doesn't matter where we're at.
No, I like the region. I like staying within the region.
I do too. I think it makes some of the other stuff easier.
Wait, let's do this. If this goes well, we're going to do this multiple years. Let's just do 2 regions each year. Because listen, one year it's going to be coastal waters and estuaries, interior Canada and Alaska. And then one year can be the South and the West.
What if we pulled a region out of a hat to start the competition? So we like went to like a major airport and just pulled the region out of a hat, and that was where we went.
No, because you have to do this is so much planning.
I mean, it is, but that would be entertaining too.
It
Our
would
chance
be
of our chance of success.
So you're saying we do no prep. We go to an airport, we pull a region out of a hat, and then it's a mad scramble for the next 10 days. So we have no planning. We have nothing lined up. And then we document on how we try to catch as many as we can in 10 days with zero planning.
Yeah, straight up amazing race style. I mean, that could be cool. Logistically, it would be a headache because then we wouldn't have like.
It would be so much more expensive.
Are we going to have lodging? Are we going to have lodging and all that booked ahead of time? Because we don't know how long we're going to be in a region. Yeah, that time of year, we should be all right in terms of getting like hotels and stuff.
Unless we go to Florida.
Yeah, well, Florida, I don't see Florida coming in to play that much. Well, for maybe bluegill or red ear.
That's going to be the easiest place to catch a 24-inch largemouth.
Yeah. Well, what about those Texas lakes?
Do you know how long a 24-inch large? Okay.
Are those 10 pounds?
Let's do a little comparison here. Oh, cool. Happy to discuss and explain now.
Is that Thomas replied?
Yeah. Should I send him the link?
Yes, send him the link. Somebody asked if this has ever been done. As far as we know, this has not been done. I mean, it's possible somebody else has done it, but I think Thomas said on the last show that there may be an angler or two that have done all of the Master Angler awards, but as far as he knows, nobody has done it in a full year, let alone 10 days. So we're gonna try to do that in 10 days. The Great Lakes are key in this. Like that,
very key, because that's your neck of the woods.
Well, and just like you're talking about better than average size fish, and a lot of species that are on this list that I don't know where else we'd catch them in a certain
Yeah, I
region.
agree. Oh, cool. He said he's actually sitting in his studio.
He's working late. What's he working so hard for?
Dude, In Fisherman doesn't run itself.
Does he know we're on live?
Yeah. I just sent him the link. What?
So I love everyone is completely shooting this down. I would say the odds of us being successful are single digit percentage. I mean, we're talking like 3, 4, 5% chance. I do think though we need to make this into some sort of from a fundraising standpoint, like we talked about doing part of it, kind of trying to raise money for St. Jude's. I think we got to do this. Like when I was younger, we used to have walkathons, right? So every lap you did, somebody would pledge like $1 if you walked so many laps. I think for every fish, every master angler we catch, we should have people pledge, a certain dollar figure, and that would go to St. Jude's.
I like that.
And it would just be kind of like on everyone's own accord, right? Like we'd have no way to manage it, but I think it would be cool if we did that.
Yeah, no, I'd be. What do you just like live in a studio, Thomas Allen? What? Like seriously, it's freaking 8:30 at night, and you're vested up in the In Fisherman studio.
That is an AFCO vest. I'm gonna tell you, I love this AFCO vest. It's funny, gentlemen. I've also been working this evening after hours. Red Solo Cup. So, listen, when you're a master of content, you need to
see. I told you it doesn't run itself. You got to have someone doing it.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody does it for your own. And I have one of the latest issues of In Fisherman here, and I guess we're talking about this Master Angler Challenge you guys have created, which we talked about this on a previous podcast, and I was like, man, you guys are crazy. But if there's two dudes that can get it done, y'all are the two dudes that do it. So
okay, so this is 100% our brainstorming session. So we were going to do all this off air, and I said, like I said, I had a Bill O'Reilly moment, and I said, screw it, we'll do it live. So we're live. So this is our brainstorming session. We're just getting everything. But Matt, explain here. And Bart's also on. He's going to jump on filming. He's Bart Bartuzek Media, also check casher in the last invitational on Kentucky Lake, and reigning St. Jude Bass Classic amazing champion.
I was going to make a comment about St. Jude's. Like I practiced for a few days, and you guys kicked my butt. So whatever.
Yeah, no, Bart, thanks for jumping on and for we have a lot behind the scenes that's been going on, Thomas, that we need to fill you in on just to even see if this is even possible. But like this is kind of blown up just a tad. What's up, Bart?
Not much. I'm excited to be here, other than just texting you guys and being like, I'll film it, and then listening to BTL the next day and Panger being like, Bart's filming it. And I was like, cool, I never got that confirmed, so I guess I'm in.
Yeah, it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, is what I was told. So, all right, Matt Stefan, explain to Thomas what our predicament is, we don't understand, and what we need clarification.
Yes. So we're looking at the sheet, all the different Master Angler Awards, and we recognize how important logistics are going to be in this quest to capture all 28 species in 10 days. We kind of want to do one region, pick one region, concentrate there. But when we look at the fact that you guys have a region 5, which is Great Lakes and tributaries, that kind of throws us off a little bit, because if we were going to stick in region 1, which encompasses all of the Great Lakes, we see things like Chinook salmon, which needs to be 20 pounds or 36 inches in region 1. But if you go to the Great Lakes, it's 28 pounds or 40 inches. But I don't know that you can catch a Chinook salmon
Right.
anywhere outside of the Great Lakes.
No, you can't. And really your predicament, I mean, I get that you want to minimize your travel. You want to take advantage of the most robust or population heavy regions that we have the Master Angler program set up at. But you literally are not going to be able to do it in one region. Now, as competitive anglers, this is where I need you guys to check your expectations just a little bit. So you're going to bring that down a notch. You're going to understand that, hey, you can probably get everything.
No,
You need to get things probably done in two regions, and that would be the region. What is it? Region 5 that encompasses
Region
the Great
5
Lakes,
and
right?
Region
Am I reading it
1.
correctly here? Yes. So Region 5 and Region 1, it's possible. The 10-day thing, you guys are awesome. Like, roll tide, get it done. If you can get it done in 10 days, that's awesome.
Sooner.
But the two closest regions that I think you need to set your rules probably to accommodate the two regions, because when you're getting accepted into the Master Angler program, we'll get a submission of a steelhead that might be spawning in a river right in Michigan, and that's going to be Region 5. Okay, so that tributary that connects to a Great Lake, that fish is running upriver to spawn as they naturally do. Could you catch a muskie in Lake Erie somewhere above Niagara Falls? For sure. Those muskies also end up in those rivers downstream from there or upstream, depending on how the tributary contributes. So it would be upstream. But your chances of catching a Master Angler quality muskie in that fishery are pretty minimal.
Yeah.
So you might want to look at combining the two, right? Region 1 and Region 5, so that you can accomplish both accessing the Great Lakes and then the tributaries, and then also the inland waters that hold all of those species.
What is Lake of the Woods technically included in?
Oh, boy.
That's what's our question. Like, how do we determine, like, what exactly? Because it said Region 5 is Great Lakes and tributaries. So, like, at what point is it no longer a tributary?
So great. If you're going to talk Lake of the Woods proper, you're going to have to follow the national boundary, and in which case, if you're in Kenora fishing with Gussie for 3 or 4 of those species, you're going to be Region 4. So I don't overcomplicate this, guys.
I don't think Stefan's allowed out of the country till about 2028, but we can't talk about that live.
That's a good story for another day. But I think that you can still accomplish that same goal without going to Canada. You want to catch a 30-inch walleye, go to North Dakota. You want to catch a 50-inch muskie, Wisconsin, Minnesota's got you covered, maybe even that eastern edge of the Great Lakes. But if you are going to venture into Lake of the Woods, you're going to have to follow that boundary that's created on the map. Google Maps will tell you that. And if that's Region 4, don't discount what you're accomplishing based on the regions. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Okay. You can do well if you have to register 1 or 2 fish via Region 4. You're fine registering 1 or 2 fish via Region 5. But if the bulk of your fish are coming out of Region 1, that's all centrally located, right? Like you're pretty dang close to everything. So don't feel like you haven't accomplished a goal by separating regions. I don't think you can do it all in one region. I don't think you can.
Yeah, and I would say from a filming perspective too, I think just having the goal of trying to hit all those species is probably like the premier goal. Don't worry about the regions because it's going to get way too complicated. Like if you just go, we're going to go catch one this big because it fits this mold, you go do that. Because if if we can get over 15, I think that would be good.
No, we're getting 28.
Yeah, I'm not jiving with the enthusiasm here, Matt. Like, everyone's bringing us down.
Everyone's like down. You think when Jordan went to the free throw line, someone went up next to him and said, "Hey, dude, as long as you hit 1 out of 2, you're okay with us."
Okay,
apples,
actually,
oranges.
This is all I need to know. Do you plan on sleeping? Like if we're
we don't plan on sleeping.
Okay, is it just like?
Well, if we're driving, if the 3 of us are in a car,
sleep.
one guy's driving, 2 guys are sleeping.
I could get closer. I mean,
Well, and
if
hey,
we hit the 28, it would be phenomenal. If we get over 20, major success.
Throw
15, I
me
think,
into
is
this.
realistic.
Like, if I can contribute by driving and being a charming personality on your camera, I'll do that. There are places here in Brainerd where you can knock off 5 or 6 species, but you're going to need a little extra help getting to and from, and let me contribute.
But here's the key.
Ultimately,
it's got to be in 2 days or a day and a half. Like, it can't be like, oh, hey, cool, you caught one in 5 days. Like, it has to be like, bang, Pam, wow, nice to see you, on to the next one.
How are you guys with guides?
Totally chill. I am. Are you good, Matt?
Yeah, we discussed this. We're calling in the favors for this.
Yeah, okay. I got a lot of connections up in the area as well. If we stay around this region, especially panfish wise.
Yeah, I do too. But let's talk marketing for a minute. So, any guide is going to base a lot of his business on his ability to produce results. Right? Nobody's going to disagree with that. And to get the word out, it's social media, it's website, it's television. This is not a new program in the North American hemisphere. In fact, a lot of Canadian provinces, states, etc., have created their own master angler program or something similar to that. So I think that if a guide is able to hitch his wagon to your effort here, he's going to probably commit. Now, money wise, a bro's got to make his living. So no one's going to argue that guide fees are worth what they are, especially in today's inflated age. We don't need to go down that road, but we're all on the same page. So you're going to have to consider what it's going to cost you. Are you going to sacrifice quality outcome for a trade-off, right? If you're going to get a guide to trade you a day, you may be harder. It may be harder to get that accomplished, whereas a high demand guide is going to require being paid. So I think you need to probably map this out, right? You're going to write your list. You're going to say, okay, we're going to go hit these tributaries to get the Great Lakes to get our Region 5 fish, which is, the steelhead, the just that whole list of lake trout. That's actually probably your easiest one to get crossed off because you're going to the Great Lakes, because you control lead core for 3 miles and catch a lake trout every outing. But if you're crossing it off the list, you've won. But you need to consider what it comes down to is how you're going to take care of the people that help you get through this. Can you trade out the exposure, or are you going to have to pay the guy
now
to take it out?
Thomas, here's where this comes into play. So I do a feature every other week called Guide Day on BTL, where I have a lot of BTL listeners have stepped up and have had great experiences with guides that they learned about on Guide Day. So when you're approaching these guys, I literally talked with Jack York today, who I did a great Guide Day episode with on Lake Fork, who was like, dude, BTL listeners kick ass. That was his exact quote. He's like, I got a lot of people who freaking have called up and are coming to Lake Fork because of that. And I'm super jacked, and I fished with some of them, and dude, they're all awesome. So if you can provide those testimonials, and I mean, Matt has a way bigger platform than I do. And then what Bart's going to do with the media aspect of it, not only on the daily stuff, but then the finished product. And then especially if we can get, which we haven't talked about, but get In Fisherman behind it for some promotion. Like, I mean, dude, that's worth a day if I'm a guide.
And we're in. Listen, the Master Angler program has been around for a very long time, and we've actually had discussions in this office here about how do we keep this alive? How do we promote this and make it competitive and worthwhile? There's prize packs to be won when you're if your catch sits at the top of the list, whatever the species is. So that's a possibility, and you definitely need to have a connection north, south, east, and west to be successful. So I think that we can probably figure out a way to do this, but what you guys need to boil this down to is how many. If you do this, it's going to be one of the most badass multi-species adventures ever. So I want to make this happen now.
Oh, we're doing it.
In reality, how do you zero in on your low-hanging fruit? No, I know you're doing it, but you want to identify the species you can catch easily and quickly,
Yeah.
And in the same area, like smallmouth, steelhead, walleye, right? Lake Erie, lake trout, Lake Erie. So all that can be done. You want to catch a muskie quickly. It's hard to beat the Mississippi River in Brainerd, but you can also do that on the eastern edge of Lake Ontario. You can also do that on the Detroit River between St. Clair and Lake Erie. So what you guys need to draw your map, draw your line with little red pen, and the following locations need to also offer opportunities for potential misses. Does that make sense? So if you miss a muskie, that's going to be your hardest one, by the way. If you miss a muskie on Lake Erie, Niagara River, okay, we're going to go to St. Clair to catch smallmouth or Wisconsin or whatever. Okay, if that doesn't work, what's your follow-up to that? It might be the Mississippi River here in Minnesota. So
I'm pretty
you got to plan that out to
us
accommodate the right time of year.
Stefan said
Yeah,
he's
I've heard
got
a lot
a
of guys
place
say
where
that.
you put one baby kitten in the river on a harness and that thing gets freaking eaten within 20 seconds.
I'm not saying
They
I
say
can get
black
us
is
the
a good
muskie.
color.
I'm saying I know a guy who can get us the muskie.
I'm not too worried about our
also-
northern species. I'm much more worried, much more concerned.
I'm
with,
worried
like,
about a flathead and a
catfish.
channel cat.
Yeah. I actually think the carp.
Don't be
carp
worried
might be
about
the
a
hardest
flathead
one.
that time of year.
What? Remind me of the time of year.
It's the
End October.
mid-end of October, possibly into early November.
There is no better time of year to catch a big catfish than the fall.
Do you have
period.
some hookups on that?
So I would put catfish at the bottom of your list.
Really?
I do.
No
Channel
kidding.
cat, blue cat. The blue cat thing, you listen, you guys here's what you can't do. You will fail if you limit yourself to one region. I would say throw the regions out the window, get your Master Angler Award regardless of the region, because the minute you try to and I get it, right? The upper Midwest is probably great for 2/3 of those species, but you may need to go south. You aren't going to catch a blue cat here, right? You're going to have to go down
Kyle
to
Austin
Tennessee
about it.
River.
He was like, dude, he's like, I can do the blue cat. He's like, we catch a channel cat that's big like once a week. He's like, good luck on the flathead. And then I told him how big, and he's like, dear God. But if
I
you
know a
think
guy.
you've got, okay,
I know a couple guys. And
this
in
is
fact,
what In Fisherman is all about.
well, the catfish, this is a funny story. I know we're going to get the train off the rails here, but we uploaded a video a couple weeks ago to our YouTube channel that was catfish centric. And since I've been here, which has been, I think 2020, going on 4 years now. So yeah, 2020, we have not had a video go viral on our YouTube channel, but we put a couple catfish videos up and they went bonkers. So I think that you have opportunities on the Mississippi River, the Minnesota River, the Red River that runs into North Dakota and into Manitoba is the #1 channel cat fishery of the country. So getting that done, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I have
The Minnesota River is very slept on.
It is, and honestly, I know a lot of muskie guys that sold their muskie gear because it's stupid. I'm a recovering muskie angler myself, and went flathead fishing, and the Minnesota River is where it's at. So now you could go down into Iowa. There's also the Cedar River, the Iowa River, the Des Moines River that are renowned cat.
So it's
flathead
that's
fisheries.
doable. The catfish are what Stefan and I have lost sleep on. Not kidding. Like we've had lengthy discussions about the whiskered species.
I think the monkeys bite you in the ass. I mean, I really do. I've been a muskie fisherman for 20 years, and those things are pricks. Like, there ain't
And
one
Stefan
alive
thinks we
now.
can do the muskies, no problem.
Yeah, end of October, I'm pretty confident in the
Yeah,
muskie.
we
Okay.
got that.
All right,
covered.
you could drag a sucker. Yeah, all right. If you're going to drag a sucker, if
Yeah.
you're not bent on
That's
tactics,
the most In Fisherman way to catch a fish ever.
oh, it's so much fun. So
Okay,
much-
so here's the next real question, and
Well,
Stefan is
I
the
want to
one-
bring up the one
Yeah.
I am most nervous about that you guys in the last show said is going to be really, really easy, and it's not because, like, I've
14-inch
actually
crappie?
filmed catching one. No, an over 11-inch bluegill is really hard.
No,
We got that.
we got that covered. I'll talk to you.
Pure bluegill?
Yes. Yeah, don't worry about that. We got that done in 10 minutes.
Okay,
Uh,
so
Okay,
all right,
then it's a private pond for sure,
who cares?
Yeah.
which is fine. But
It's
I'm
still
just
region-
saying, like,
it's
you
still
guys
region
were
one.
like, this is, yeah, you guys were like, this is
Six
gonna
of
be
these
easy.
species are going to get knocked out in a Bass Pro Shops tank.
Okay, perfect. I'm
After
just
hours.
making sure, like 11-inch bluegill is very big.
Yeah, no, I got no issues on that. Okay, so here's
That's a giant.
here's the next question, and this is integral to our success in this, Matt. It's the kept versus catch and release dilemma. So the floor is yours. Ask Mr. Allen what.
Yeah, Thomas, I got to tell you, like that time of year. So if I look at region 1, smallmouth is 5 pounds for catch and keep, and catch and release is 20 inches.
Stefan is
Like,
threatening
if I
to
have
knock
to,
the
I'll
sides
knock
off of.
I'll knock the sides off a 19.5 incher if he's 5 pounds. But do we have the go to say, hey, it's it weighed over 5 pounds, and can we
certified
let it go?
scale? Can we do a certified scale that we then release? Or, I mean, we're going to be killing some giants.
I mean, we're after this.
I mean,
I don't know what we're going to do.
I'll club a muskie if that's what it comes down to.
Muskie crowd.
Well, there's some serious cheek meat in a muskie. Like you will get ate alive. Don't do that. I would first eat a smallmouth before I eat a muskie. But I have partaken of the flesh.
I will club a 28-pound muskie.
All right. Okay. Any muskie guys listening to the show right now? I'm gonna just clarify. These guys are. Well, Matt gets it. Panger has lost too many lures to muskies accidentally, but muskies are considered sacred.
I would not.
But listen, there's some cheek meat
Stefan
on a 50-inch muskie. Yeah, no, don't kill muskie. I think that if you're in the right scenario where it's a renowned fishery, I'm not going to blow Mille Lacs off the map here, but if you're in a place where there are plenty of smallmouth, I think if you're accomplishing your goal that way, that's fine. Because what's the comparison, Matt? I got the map up here. So a kept smallmouth compared to
okay, listen, a largemouth in region 1. This is
20
a perfect
inches
comparison.
versus 5 pounds.
I've got a replica of a 922 largemouth from Illinois that was exactly 22 inches long. It was actually, it's 22 and a half. I know it because it's on a plaque out there. It's a replica, but the kept is only 6.5. So in order, like it's doable to catch a 6.5 in that region, but a 22-inch northern strain is going to be like a freaking state record in 3/4 of the lake. So what Stefan was saying was if we had a certified scale to where it's documented on video and photography and stuff that says, hey, here's a 6'10" largemouth, even if it's only 20.5 inches long, it, is the only stipulation that we didn't frickin' mount or fry the thing, keeping us from getting a master angler. You see what we're saying there?
I totally get that, but what you have to consider too is the keeping thing is cultural, right? In Fisherman has long for many years promoted the selective harvest mentality, and if Doug were here, he'd tell you that one of his favorite fish to eat is a 12 to 14-inch bass, and it's a fine eating fish. So there's a point where you have to understand that there's a community reaction, right? And there's that's split down the middle, because you do have a lot of people that travel across this country to catch a bass that they're going to put in their live well, they're going to take home and knife it. And honestly, Minnesota is a fine example. There's a tremendous number of walleye fisheries that are put and take. They're designed, they're stocked to handle a certain amount of harvest. So, you guys keeping a fish, listen, I want every trophy caliber fish, bluegill up to muskie, put back in the water. But if a fish dies, for example, here in Minnesota, the Nolan, is it Sprangler? Am I saying that right? Caught the state record muskie out of Mille Lacs, right? So we broke a long-standing record that needed to be broken. But he told me personally that fish literally inhaled a bulldog, and they tried for an hour to revive it and it wouldn't revive. So they made the right decision in that scenario to keep that fish, break the record, and the fish is represented fairly. So I wouldn't recommend that you go out of your way to kill a fish that other people within the community consider to be a trophy, but also consider there's an element of 65+% of people keep fish to eat on a weekly basis. So Do you want to piss off this group or do you want to piss off that group?
Listen,
I guess
all of our question is, Matt, am I right on this question? Is we plan on releasing everything that we catch. But if we catch a 21 3/4 inch largemouth bass in region 1 that weighs 8 pounds on a certified scale and we release it, no master angler credit or master angler credit? That's a serious question, because that there are species on here that are much easier to reach the kept weight than the released length.
Yeah. Well, this is where you stay honest. Okay. You keep that fish. You enter it into the master angler program. So part of the master angler deal with the kept fish is a witness, right? So you got to have somebody with you that verifies the weight, does the whole thing. It's pretty easy. Follow the directions. But then you do a follow-up video of you and Matt sitting on the porch enjoying a cocktail as the sun sets on your favorite lake, and you have got bass XYZ from Lake XYZ in the hot grease, and you're consuming that flesh. You're building your muscles. You're becoming better people. Because listen, bass are a great eating fish, and I could care less if people judge you for eating them, because
I would judge
in the right situation.
Thomas.
Eat it.
There's no way in hell that I'm putting a 7-pounder in the box. I got nothing against the people who do.
I get it.
Listen, I have Gene Gilliland sit across from me who says there's limits for a reason, and these fish are meant to be taken, and we're predators just like anything else. A freaking angry moose could kick one, a bear could eat one, whatever. Like, I understand that, but it's just like, it's like built into my soul to just let like those big fish go. But I don't hold any. I mean, listen, I do judge someone who would keep an 8-pound bass, but I understand there's people who don't know any better. And if they're feeding their family, it's legal. They have a license. They caught it in a sporting manner. More on them. It's totally legal. Not something I would do, but it is. But would I kill one of those for a master angler? Matt, would you be able to do that?
I mean,
we're from the north.
I'd have a real hard time killing any fish just for the award, but gosh dang.
So are we just going straight catch and release? Because I don't think we can catch a 22-pound.
What if we had a fish fry at the end? Does that count? Like, does that make it better?
What are we going to have? A musky, a largemouth bass and a brook trout freaking fish fry?
Speaking as the guy filming this,
I
do not want to film those fish getting killed.
No, neither.
What I've literally filmed with the Chronicles for the last 4 years
is releasing 13-inch crappie.
So hypocritical to everything I've preached.
Listen, I get what you're saying, Thomas. I understand that in fishermen, there's a ton of people who go out to catch and to harvest, and the bigger it is, it means the more meat there is. And a lot of those fish also get wrapped in saran wrap, frozen and mounted so that they can be enjoyed for 20 or 30. I got nothing against that. I understand that cultural and that thing. Like, I don't have an issue with that at all. That our only question was, if it was,
if you can hit the weight, do you have to kill
it? That was my only question. It's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
He's sticking by the rules.
Oh no. All right, you say yes or no, but let's talk about this. So let's talk about a lot of walleye tournaments in our part of the world right now. It is a no cull tournament. So you put a fish in your live well, it stays there until weigh-in. Okay, you have to weigh it alive. So if you decide you're gonna do, this is a hot mess, a whole nother topic we don't have time to go into, but the NWT, the National Walleye Tour, has changed a couple of their tournaments around to accommodate a 3-fish limit and a no cull limit. So if you drop 3 walleyes in your boat by 8 a.m. on tournament day, you just drive back to the ramp, order a pizza, sit down, you're done. So you guys kind of need to take that mentality of, listen, if we need to leave in 2 days, or we need to leave tomorrow to go chase after species XYZ, but we've got a kill-worthy fish, and I would probably identify a handful of species that should not be killed. Muskie has to be number one.
Largemouth bass, smallmouth bass,
maybe,
crappie.
But see, you're coming to your largemouth end game here based on your location nationally, geographically,
Yeah,
regionally.
but you're coming to your musky conclusion
Yeah,
based on
that's
your
just the
location
same way the other
geographically.
way.
No,
Like,
no,
I
no.
look at them the same as a pike.
If I club a 30-inch walleye on camera, I'm gonna still have the walleye crowd
You're
coming after
gonna
me,
have the
even
haters,
though
but
they
let me finish.
clubbed 50 of
Okay.
them at Devils
Let
last
me
year.
finish
your thought.
Finish
Yeah.
my thought. The point is, you need to be selective in your harvest. All right. Now that sounds like a pun. Maybe it is,
Mhm.
but you're not going to get in trouble for keeping a giant catfish. Mostly, there is every community has their purists. Every community has their activist. I don't care if you're carp. Listen, look at the carp guys in England. Like they pick these freaking fish up with a cradle. And carry it on shore, and they hold it like this. I used to kick those damn things off of a rock cliff, and they'd stay alive for 2 hours.
Listen, I don't
before
care
put
who
it back
gets
in the
upset
creek.
at me. I'm just talking about me personally. That's all we're talking about.
You got a problem with the bass. I get it.
No,
No.
but I'm
I
just
have
saying.
a problem
think
with all the species.
Listen, I think either we do strictly catch and release if that's not it,
Yeah.
or and if you don't have to you don't have to give us a yes or no answer tonight. But that was our biggest question: was if we have, like, let's say, a certified Bubba scale that is certified by a professional, can that count for the kept awards? And then secondly, something that Rich Lindgren brought up: how long do we have to keep it for?
So I
couldn't do this
like,
in Minnesota because we can't transport a fish.
That's right.
We could look into other states though.
No, you're right. There's a little bit of a hiccup there, but I do think I'm here in the studio because we were recording a podcast with some of our folks that create the Kayak Fishing Fun publication that we do. And Rob Newman was here, who's our managing editor of In Fisherman, and is poised to carry the torch beyond Doug Stange when his day to retire comes. So one of the things we talked about is Master Angler, and it's one of the most difficult parts of our business because it takes a person to manage those entries. And it takes a substantial amount of time between him and myself to kind of handle those duties as those entries get submitted. We go through them, we call out the ones that are nonsense, and there are some serious bad ones that are funny to talk about. We had a guy send us a picture today of 27 boats in a bass tournament parking lot. Like, bro, I don't know that we can submit your... Anyway, the point is, I think exceptions can be made if you can verify the fish's weight. But In Fisherman has long been behind the selective harvest component. So I think the last time we talked together, I mentioned the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Survey that indicates that 65 to 70% of anglers are not tournament anglers.
Mm-hmm.
So the license buyers, the consumers of fishing in general, do fish for sport, do fish for fun, but a vast majority of that component keeps fish to eat. So what I think you should consider, I would throw the regions out the door. Okay. Forget about getting everything done in one region. Maybe forget about getting everything done in two regions, and do your best to get it accomplished within your timeline. And if there's a crappie, listen, knife it. If it's a bluegill, knife it. Okay. Those fish are replaceable because they are larger population.
Won't film that. I think we either. I think
Not
we
doing it.
either.
I don't
Listen
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Just-
we
just-
all
and
are
that's-
we all
just
three
let
on
me-
this agreement?
yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
all three in
Yeah,
agreement on this
Panger,
that either
just
it gets
the one
certified
thing-
to where it counts, or we do the catch and release length only?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
right.
I think the one thing I want to touch on, just because I've filmed selective harvest for hundreds of thousands of people with the Chronicles over the last 4 or 5 years, is we literally film eating, filleting, preparing fish. We praise it. We teach people the correct way to do it. Keep what you're going to eat. Do not over harvest from a fishery. Release larger fish to keep genetics in the lake. And that's like a master angler fish is a larger fish. It's a genetically good fish. You want to put it back. So that's
right.
the biggest thing. Like, I get it. Like, if you're out largemouth fishing and you kill one because it's way out deep, that's different. That's like
Then
what
you
Aaron
feel an
Weeb at
obligation
Uncut-
to keep it.
Yeah, that's what Weeb talks about with uncut angling and stuff, is the selective harvest of, if your catch is going to die, keep it and then do that. So I think that's fine. But I think you just go by the inches and then you just catch and
Listen,
release.
I'm not trying
unless
to be
it's gonna die.
controversial here at all. I understand your job, Thomas, and In Fisherman, and the people who fish recreationally are completely different than what the other three people in this box, and that's, and not in a bad way. They just look at fish differently. than tournament anglers do. And then Bart films a whole series. So I don't even want to get into that debate. We just need to know as we go forward, certified scale or not, and what rules we're going by, because that depends on what species we go after in what region. That's literally, it's a really simple question.
What I cannot give you an affirmative answer on is if you do a certified scale and submit it, if that's acceptable, because
can we get an answer? Like, can you look into that for us?
Yes, I can. If you give me a few days, I can get an answer.
We have plenty of time. We just wanted to know if that was an option or not, or if we had to go on length, because that determines on region.
I think that it's probably wise to do that. And for your efforts, I think it would make sense to try to do 100% release.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to weigh a muskie. I mean, even the muskie guys get angry if you weigh a fish. Like if you put it in the
muskie guys get mad if you take it out of the water.
Oh, Lord.
Or if you net it. Like,
that's why they count follows.
Yeah. Exactly.
Easy.
A good day.
Easy. Listen, this thing over my shoulder here didn't happen on accident. But
listen, I love muskie.
I had a great day muskie fishing when I was smallmouth fishing on Tonka. I saw 7 of them and I never casted. That's a great muskie day.
I could talk about that, but I think you identify. You identify a handful of species that if you're in a situation where you're tight on time, you guys write this down in advance and say, all right, so we caught our crappie, we caught our I don't advocate killing of trophy caliber fish, but the thing that you have to, I want your listeners to understand, I don't buy into this 100% personally, but it is biological fact. Okay, you cannot overharvest bluegill and you cannot overharvest crappie in the ideal fishery. Can you overharvest crappie in a farm pond? Yes. Can you take the wrong bluegill out of a small lake and it be affected? It's a possibility, but you need to recognize that certain species are identified by their special interest groups. Okay, example would be Muskies Inc. or Bassmaster or Trout Unlimited. You can figure out whatever those groups are, do your Google searches, whatever. Don't limit yourselves to accomplish this goal by appeasing the crowds that are special interest and they're small. Okay.
No, we're not. We're just this. I think we're all in agreement, though, that we're not going to kill any fish.
And I don't listen. I don't want to hear about a muskie being killed, a 50-pound flathead. I've been told that the larger the flathead, the better it tastes. I don't know.
I would love to do that. But I'm not trying to get into a debate on like which fish is more valuable. I think it's super easy to just say we're going to release all of our fish.
Yep.
It doesn't matter whether it's what species it is,
so
a carp or a muskie. How
can you certify that scale is my question. Is it going to be the Bubba scale or the Rapala scale? Well, you need to make sure that scale has been approved by an entity, right?
Okay, but just find out. That was the main question. Just find out if that would work, if it is a certified scale, and then we can go through the process of certifying and figuring out how to certify a scale like that.
Right. Okay. But my point, you're right. I will ask. I will provide you with an answer. But
if the answer is no, that's fine. Then we just know we need to go by inches, and then we just base our journey off of that.
There's like 5 11-inch bluegills in this state, so I hope you can find them. But my point is like
we have
a guy in Nebraska.
Matt and I we got it in our back pocket. Trust me, the bluegill will be the easiest of all of the species on the list.
You're really gonna regret saying that,
Matt. Will you say
even
that?
if it's a private pond?
I know a guy.
I mean, I think
I know the guy.
If we have permission, it'll be the easiest one we can get. I also think,
Thomas, does it have to be pure strain bluegill, or is it like green hybrid? Like, is that fine? That's just a general question I have.
Does rock bass count as bluegill?
Yeah. No. If we need the rock bass, we'll just go to leech. That's super easy.
Oh my gosh,
that one will be no problem.
You want a state record title? Listen to me. I can take you to a dogfish and a rock bass.
Yeah,
we can do it.
Yeah, Matt, you could register a state record rock bass when we're at the Leech Lake Open.
So, my
legitimately,
my counterpart to the In Fisherman Master Angler program is Dr. Robert Newman. Who has, I think, 6 or 7 doctorates and 10 master's degrees in fishery biology. He's the man. So it has to be a pure strain bluegill. Don't go do any of these pumpkin seed crosses like
log or none of that.
That's where then with if you're going to get permission, we need to see a picture of the bluegills.
I think
Okay.
no, I will
That's
totally
a very
support.
important thing because
I
they're
would
like a green mix.
You're
They'll
right.
get long and you'll hit 11 really easily. But that's why I'm saying, like, I have a 2-pounder on my
Because we're
wall
way off.
that I caught, but they're like getting an 11-inch bluegill. I think I've caught that 12-incher and maybe one other 11 in my life. And I ice fish 100 days a year on trophy fisheries.
Did you fillet the forehead meat off of him? Because I would have.
No, I have a replica. I had released him.
So here was our last question for you, Thomas.
All right.
Then the verification process. Then if you go to the website, you scroll down. It talks about all the different stuff. Like, how long does that take to where? So, like, Matt and I want to make sure that we do this by the book 100%, so no one can be like, oh, well, no, that doesn't count. How long does it take to like verify a master angler species to where we can be like, okay, we're 100% good. We can get out of Dodge and go on to the next species.
It comes to me. So I will, if we're in communication as it's happening, they hit my inbox and I can verify immediately. And I'm going to question some of your like tactics here. Like if I see a 50-inch muskie that's actually 49.5, you guys are back to the drawing board. I'm sending y'all back.
But we wouldn't send that in. You have to remember.
I thought the muskie in our division is 48. 46.
Okay. You know what I'm saying. Let me look here. Muskie is 40.
Yeah, 46 way easier than 50. Way
all right.
easier.
Okay.
Listen, I want to do all this
46 right now.
100% above board to where there is no question to where guys are like, oh, well, that's why our weight question. I don't want people to think, oh, well, they,
I think 100%.
I dropped a hook somewhere down there. I'm going to find it.
So this is one of the most. We have had this discussion during this week about the future of Master Angler, and we need somebody to take this on like you guys are. And I want to support you 100%. If it's my boat, if it's my spots, if it's, Bart can help out on a couple of these things. Like this is super important for the future of the In Fisherman Master Angler brand. And unfortunately, as resources in the industry and personnel and the entire economy, people don't go to work to fill certain positions, or positions aren't backfilled because that's the nature of the beast. So we've tried to figure out how to energize a master angler community, how to better manage the whole program. And I want you guys to take this serious. Like I know that you've talked about this on air previously, so you're committed. You called me into a meeting to talk about this, so I know you're committed, but I want to facilitate this as well. So if there is any way, shape, or form that we can talk about crossing the right bridges, making sure that you're playing by the rules, like you just call my number, we'll talk about it. We want to have a podcast discussion in the middle of your hunt, we'll talk about it. But this right here, this is sought after. Okay, there are not many of these available. There's not a lot of anglers out there that have these, and if you want to have something that complements that, okay, release, or we have different species, it's going to take a commitment that is very difficult. I love your guys' energy. You're tournament anglers. You're competitive. I'm a tournament angler. I'm competitive. But I also understand when you go out after a specific fish, it's just like executing your pre-fish objectives on tournament day. Sometimes things go wrong. So give yourself a little bit of leeway in the regions. Give yourself a little bit of leeway. 10 days is awesome. I love that. Okay, if that doesn't happen, great. If you're not able to catch everything in that allotted amount of time, as a content guy, extend it. Okay, put it into next year, put it into next week. Find a way to make this happen, because I don't know that there's really very many people, if any, that have accomplished the entire list ever, let alone in 1 year. So you do have a tall order.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I want it.
It's pretty awesome.
Hey, Stefan, there was like 10 comments people wanted to know. Why'd you guys pick 10 days? Was that just randomly said? I also don't know this. I don't know.
Stefan has two kids that like they love their dad, and their dad loves them.
Panger, I'm saying they're wondering, why was it not 9 or 11? Why was it 10? Like,
because we started with 7,
number.
and then I called Matt, and I was like, you do realize that that's like 4 species a day.
Yeah. We started with 7, and then he convinced me to go to 10.
Okay, so that answers the question for the listeners. I just saw that asked a bunch when I first hopped in.
You will make the pages of this magazine with this project. Okay, you have my word on that.
Okay,
because that's important to us.
How many do you think? What is your number? This is our first initial meeting. You don't even know what we've got going on behind the scenes. Anything like how many of the Master Angler Awards do you think we will be able to knock out in the 10 days? Out of the 27 is there 27 or 28? I don't even.
28.
I've been saying 28, but then someone said 1, 2.
Despite whether it's 27 or 28, I think it's a near impossible task based on geography alone. But
27.
If you're able to combine a bunch of these in one trip, if you can knock 4 or 5 off per trip and 3 or per destination and 3 destinations, that's 15, right? So I think you really need to identify the species rich waters.
Mm-hmm.
Go there. And as an example here, you want to catch a flathead, you're going to need to catch a sauger and a sawguy. You need to catch both. There's a damn argument out there about what's really a sawguy, because if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, some genetic components, right? The white tip on a tail, right? That's a walleye. Well, sometimes that goes to a sawguy. Sometimes it does not. So you need to make sure you're in the boat with someone that knows, can recognize the dorsal fin and there's some other things too, but there are people that can help you do that. So
we're gonna need a DNR biologist for the sawguy thing, because I know what they are and I couldn't tell you.
And we
need a biologist on standby.
So hard.
You know what's funny?
Maybe it's a walleye.
You could catch a sauger, a walleye, and a sawguy in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They're all in the same hole.
So we need to write this down, Matt. We need to have a biologist that we can call and FaceTime when we have a species that Bartle be filming.
I can get that.
You have that, but we need to get that lined up to where we can call and he can say, yes, that is a largemouth bass.
My buddy Scott can do it.
Scott, okay. I'm going to give you another name that you need to reach out to. This is a friend of mine. We fished with him this year. Chris Winchester is a river rat in that part of the country. And he will take care of, he might be able to take care of flathead. He will take care of sawguy, walleye, sauger, and I think a handful of those species, probably smallmouth. I don't know what you think, Bart. Can you get a
20-inch smallmouth is going to be
Stefan's
hard.
on the BPT and lives in Wisconsin.
It's way easier to go to Stefan's neck of the woods.
Well, then, but here again, here's what I'm saying. If you can cross off 3 species in one day, you're shortening your trip. So look for
do 3 every day.
I love this.
And then we're still 6 short.
Hanger, what's your plan for the perch?
I thought you were the perch guy.
Leech Lake.
Well, 15-incher though. I don't know if anywhere in Minnesota you can get a 15. I was gonna say we can maybe get it at Devil's, otherwise just go to Cascade.
Yeah, like I said, we have to go.
But Cascade is west, right? That's Rocky Mountains. That's Idaho.
Yeah, which that's not included then. Well, we said we're throwing divisions out. So I also didn't know. Are you Stefan? Are you planning on? Are we starting this immediately when you're done with the U.S. Open?
No, that depends on. We won't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'm doing
July.
that for sure yet.
Okay.
But
so you're doing the Open for sure?
I don't know if I'm doing it for sure.
Oh, because if you're not doing it for sure, we could do it earlier, and then that would make sure that if by chance I happen to qualify for the net. But I'll also know in July if I'm done in if I'm done in October 13th, or if I'm done on November 2nd.
Okay, well, because I was gonna say if we started down by the U.S. Open in that Arizona region or whatever, basically on the way back I'd thought about this. You'd be able to hit. It would be red ear and havasu, and then it would be yellow perch on Cascade. You might be able to get a trout there as well and smallmouth. But then. If we were driving, you would go right by Fort Peck, which that's your walleye, pike, lake trout, done, easy, smallmouth for sure.
Master angler size?
Oh, yeah, literally, it's
okay.
the
Here's
best
what
fishery in the
United
United
I don't
States.
think you understand. Here's what I don't think you understand. It is called Master Angler for a reason. And I have been measuring gigantic fish that I have been catching since this whole thing has sparked. So today, I catch this.
Oh boy.
And I catch that.
Yeah.
Knife
how
it.
long was that?
Knife it.
And no, it wasn't a 10-pounder, but that was a long gargantuan.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 25-inch board in my boat. I put it on the board. I said, by God, I just caught me a Master Angler largemouth. Has to be 24 inches in Oklahoma. It was 22 and a half inches.
Wow.
And it was a freaking slob. So I hope we're not underestimating.
Look, I'm the one who thought you were overestimating what we could actually do. I'm telling you, Fort Peck walleye and lake trout and smallmouth, legitimate.
I know, but today kind of freaked me out a little bit because I thought for sure that was a Master Angler largemouth in Oklahoma, and I was going to register it and get things going.
Well,
like,
listen, you tournament
I think
guys.
largemouth might be one of the hardest ones to do.
It's going to be tough.
Just automatic, to be honest.
But I think
really
you need to I think you need to play by the rules within the In Fisherman program. So it's easy to say we're going to release everything. You're far more likely to catch a 1.5 pound perch in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and North Dakota. In fact, there's some fantastic yellow perch fishing in North Dakota. Than you are a 15-incher. And nobody, and I mean 0 people, are going to throw up a flag about knife.
I don't care about that. I don't care about any of that. I just need to know, it's a done deal. 100%. We're not keeping anything. So I just need to know if we can. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, Thomas, get it out of your head. We're not keeping a fish. Everything that we can, unless it's dead when we bring it in, is going back in the water alive and well. It's just that's just how it rolls.
All right, Cascade's your best bet then, or Eastern Basin of Lake Ontario is another.
Or
if we need a 15,
if we can certify the scale, that's what you need to see. If we can certify, if we can prove that it's a certified scale.
Then we're playing by rules than the rest of the different rules than the rest of the Master.
Unless the Master Anglers comes out that if you have a certified scale, like, I'm just saying, that's all we need. We need a yes or a no on the certified scale. And if it's a no big deal. We'll go by inches. Yeah. If it's a yes,
inches, we'll just go by inches.
Then it changes things a little bit.
I think having both would be helpful. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Let's identify a couple things here. I want you to look at your most complicated species, and not only to reach the Master Angler inch minimum, but to access across the country. There's 2 things here I see that are going to be very difficult, and that is going to be your chain pickerel and your hybrid muskie or your tiger muskie.
Tiger muskie, I got it. Lake I grew up on.
And I've had several BTL listeners that have reached out and said they have fantastic tiger muskie that are voracious.
Minneapolis South Metro.
Oh, I know the lake, and I won't say it, but to that Master Angler quality, I'm not sure that lake's going to produce that.
There needs to be a 38-incher.
But there's one that's very
that lake. Oh, never mind.
Well,
but 4 lakes.
Listen to me on this. So I think that I think mapping things out, we're going to go back to this mapping out the whole process here. Havasu is a great place to get your red ear. That is the place to get your red ear. Or there's a place in Nebraska. We'll talk offline about that. The other thing is there is a tremendous population of tiger muskies in the West. A lot of those mountain reservoirs have tigers in them.
Yeah. Colorado.
Colorado, Idaho, actually, if you're going to do Cascade.
We're looking for 38-incher, folks.
That's right. And I think that you're going to have you are not going to be able to target a tiger muskie in a muskie fishery, okay, where they occur naturally. You can't target them.
You have to go to where they're stocked.
That's right. We're exclusive. So
ironically, that's one of the only species of master. I mean, I have caught a 38-inch tiger muskie.
Well, the other one is the chain pickerel. That's a big one. And that
who decided on that?
I don't know. I mean, there are species. There's 4 or 5 subspecies of northern pike.
But maybe that's one we just put at the bottom. And if we get there,
the
we've got a Hail Mary. We've got a Hail Mary for a chain pickerel. And if not, I mean, although I also don't want to complete it on a chain pickerel. Do you, Matt?
That'd be pretty cool.
Well-
That'd be by far the most excited I've ever been to
I
catch a
don't-
small pike species, and I
That's
think
right.
Stefan would say that too.
That's a neat.
I
it's a neat
don't think
fish.
it's going to be that hard after what I just saw after my abysmal finish at the Shawan River.
A
Did you catch a bunch of chain
24
pickerel
incher
there?
though.
Yeah, I bet you I had 2 of them, and Drew Gill had one that was like 27, 28 inches long.
Did he measure it?
No, but I mean he knows what he's talking about, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
Like,
but
'cause we-
He's
we
like
were- he
21
actually
years
spent-
old. How many chain
Well, we
pickerel has
spent-
he caught?
we
How
spent-
does he know how long a chain pickerel is?
We spent that night actually researching what the state record chain pickerel was for North Carolina, and it's like 31 inches or something like that there. I forget what it was, but there were a lot of them there. I mean, I'm not saying we go there and for sure catch one, but I think we could go there, wing a couple buzz baits around, and come pretty dang close.
In that time of year?
If you want to stay
don't know
north, I
right
got
there.
connections up in Maine where that'll actually be pretty
Have-
doable.
Have you guys Googled chain pickerel?
Yeah, they're not very. They're not.
Google it and let's talk about Latin. All right, let's do that. I'm gonna leave that there.
Yeah, chain pickerel are just targeting low 20-inch pike doesn't excite
I
me.
was really hoping when I hit images that there wasn't a porn star named Chain Pickerel, because we would have had to ditch the whole live stream.
They're a cool fish. They don't get very big. In fact, I've seen that like when you do the research, that the world record chain pickerel, the world record all tackle world record is 9.4 pounds. That's a big pike in Minnesota this time this year, anyways. But that was caught out of Georgia in 1961. So that's a big fish.
That's in Maine.
I mean, I feel like a little bit of research, and we can find a good chain pickerel lake.
You would definitely need to stack the cards in your favor that way.
Listen, there's got to be someone who wakes
That's where
up
you
in
can
the
get your
morning
truck, too.
and lives and breathes chain pickerel. Like there's someone. If there are people that do hobby horsing, listen. If there are people that do hobby horsing, there are people that are chain pickerel experts in this world.
Yeah. There's
that
not
not
an
a
in
fair
fisher.
statement?
There is not an in fisherman segment that focuses on chain pickerel. I can assure you of that.
What are you looking at, Matt?
I googled chain pickerel, and there's a whole pile of like videos even on YouTube. I mean, this one guy, for the love of chain pickerel, and he's holding like a 8-pounder.
What's his name?
Well,
Are we gonna hold to him?
I mean, I guess it's Field and Stream. It's got 108,000 views, but
wow.
I don't know. I
maybe
feel
you
like
need to focus on the chain pickerel. Listen, I don't think. Yeah,
I think we
we're
just
way
draw a
down the
map, and then of the stuff we feel like we can get grouped up and done well and efficiently and filmed well, and then you basically pick your individuals and go, where do we need to hop to get these?
So, Bart, let me ask you this. I think this would be a super cool graphic to include in this. I don't know how to do this, beyond my skill set, but let's say you're starting at Havasu. Can you draw that line across the country of we're going here, anywhere to catch all these fish, and then end up at the very end with whatever that last fish might be, which is probably a chain pickerel. But I think that'd be a super cool graphic.
Yeah, I think you would start west and work east. I think so too. Assumption.
And I would agree.
I don't know if you would drive for the whole thing, or if like the first couple you would just fly somewhere quick. Or
well, Panger, get up here to Minneapolis. Like hop on a plane, fly to Minneapolis. I'll pick you guys up. We'll go up here and spend 2 or 3 days knocking 4 of those species off the list. Easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident we can get 4 to like 7 of them within 3 to 4 hours of our house. But the crappie will be way more efficient down by Panger. Just hop on his boat.
Yes.
And strip
and you can live scope those suckers. You can pick out the big ones.
Yeah. I mean, do it in the winter too, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot easier to just go get a 14 down there than it is up here. So
they're here though. I know a spot or two.
Yeah. I've caught a lot of them.
I hope you guys do this. Bravo. This is a great idea.
We are doing
glad
it.
we're here.
And the
This is-
success will be in the epicness.
I'm just really
of the
excited
journey.
to catch these trout, man. Like,
I'm no help
catch
there.
a Laker.
The Laker, I think, will be easier than you think. Like you could do a Laker
Yeah.
and steelhead in the same minute. I mean, literally.
Out
you
of
can
Superior, Michigan.
Yep.
something.
I would insist on so the lake trout. Let's see, what's our limit here on lake trout? Is
So-
34 inches. That's a
yeah.
doable fish on the Great Lakes.
So listen, I'm gonna name drop here. So I made a call to Brandon OWCZARZAK. I think it's Ozarzak. I met him at the Strike King Riders Conference a couple years ago. He has since moved on to be Kevin Van Dam's official cameraman, full-time cameraman. He is a salmonoid freak show. Like wakes up, like that's his thing. So I called him and I said, hey, we got this thing going on. What are the likelihood that we could get this done? And he was shockingly optimistic. Now he said some stuff is going to have to go right, but
That's fishing.
he was like, I can do this, this, and this. We could knock these species out in a day and a half if things go right. And then you need to go here for the brown trout. And I got a guy for this trout and you're done in 2 days. If it goes right. And I was like, really? And he's like, what time of year? And he's like, yeah, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's
that'll end up
possible.
being a 3 to 4 day adventure.
Yeah, but here's the cool thing. If you schedule
I
a
feel
handful
enough.
of guides in that mix, you get your species crossed off while you're there, then you're headed to the next position early. So
Yeah, so I guess this is a question for you guys too, for you guys to think about, Panger, Stefan. What's there to say that we're out on a body of water and one guy's targeting this fish and the other guy is at a lake that happens to be an hour and a half
We gotta
away
stay. We
targeting?
gotta stay together.
you both have to catch one, or is one fish between
It's
the two
one.
of you count?
Yeah,
It's one fish, but we have to stay together. We can't separate. That's the whole thing. Is I mean, that's in Fisherman, man. It's sharing it
I
with your
don't
buddy.
see-
Where the
That's right.
where the dude
Yeah.
freaking nets it and you high five and hug each other.
I don't necessarily think that like having it happen once or twice though, and like
No,
having the GoPro
no.
on is a bad thing.
We already
No.
decided this.
Yep. Just
Okay.
like we're not killing anything. We're not separate. We're a
All right,
couple.
That's fine.
We're
Yeah,
a
we're
couple
yeah.
of catch and release anglers, right, Matt?
That's right, Matt. Yeah, no, I mean, part of this, we want to have some fun too. Like,
Yeah, no, that'll be great.
competitive if we want to make it. It'll be a lot more fun if we're, succeeding or failing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
6 patches max. Corey Kistner. Well, I'll take the over on that all day long.
Oh my gosh, I would too. You could do that here in Brainerd. And there is a stash of these patches here, so we can.
So that is a question, Thomas. So do we each get a patch, or is the patch only going to the guy that actually caught the fish?
It's going to be the guy at the reel.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree with that. That's fine.
That's fair.
So
But-
with the complication of this entire project, I would limit it. I know you guys are. I want you to succeed. So these are success advices, right? So I would say if you're fishing together, this is the tournament side of you guys too. I'm going to feed your egos a little bit. So you go for the first guy to catch the fish, okay, that meets the minimum. You move on to the next place, and at the end of this, the other guy who didn't catch as many of the Master Angler qualifying fish has to buy the other dude an expensive bottle of whiskey or whatever. But I think you hit the fish, you move on. If it's
We're
Matt or
not
Matt,
killing any
you move on.
fish. Thomas,
So-
No, that's not what I'm
we're
saying.
We're not hitting any fish.
All right, you're not clubbing any fish, but what I'm saying is you got to save a little gas money here. You both need to stay married, so let's catch the fish and roll on to the next destination.
So I
then-
think we
My
decided we're
northern
going to
bass
take the
guys are never
patches.
going to let me back if I don't club the pike.
And we're going to take the patches and we're going to put them on a jacket, old school Bass Club style at the end. And then we're
Oh,
going to have
heck
the
yeah.
Master Angler jacket, regardless of who catches
Can
it.
it be a
So
Letterman jacket? Like
It'd
high
be-
school?
I want it to be the most like
Get the
early
ear
1990s Ranger Boats jacket style is what I'm thinking.
No. I want a full body mechanic jumpsuit coverall.
That would take a lot of master angler. If we hit all 27, we can
all
do
the way
that.
down your chest, down your leg. I mean,
all the way
listen.
down the leg. So just so you guys know, like, this is how I envision this ending. I told this to Matt the other day, but I kind of think if we left largemouth at the end, right, or no matter what species it is, but I envision it like us going out for the last one. Say it's the 10-pound bass. We go out, we catch it, and we come back, and there's like thousands of people at the boat ramp cheering us on because we have conquered the Master Angler 27 species challenge in 10 days. Like, I mean, I feel like that's probably unrealistic on all counts of that story, but in my head,
There's a chance.
That's what I envision.
There's a chance.
I just see boats cheering us on as we come to like the final days.
Did anyone think Lance
at him?
Armstrong would beat testicular cancer and go on to win 6 Tour de France's? No.
Isn't there like a 30 for 30 about
Are we
that
doing
right
blood
now?
doping too? Is that how we're going to stay awake?
You're going to have to do something to stay awake. and listen, if you want thousands of people at the boat ramp, Matt, then we need to have probably a daily update on the podcast.
Oh, no, we're doing
yeah.
10 podcasts, 10 video updates, and
this is
then
great.
a finalized produced show from
Yeah,
Bart at the end.
I'll do a series. It'll be highly produced.
Yeah,
Well,
It'll
no.
definitely be out around the classic probably next week.
I think you set your goal on accomplishing every of the 27 species. We get as many done as we can. As the snow flies, you adjust to accommodate. If it's beyond your 10 days, it is what it is. And then if you don't meet that minimum, then we look at a 2025 revisit and we'll cross off every species from there. I think you set your expectations, do your best to get there, and then accept the kick in the balls as it's going to come, because you're not going to be able to get all of them. It is I think it is virtually impossible to get all 27 species in 10 days. If you guys do it, that is worthy of national attention and probably a bigger trophy than I can create otherwise. So do it, expect the failure, and along the way, I'll award these as they come into my inbox. Click, click,
Guess
click,
what?
click, click.
Dexter said it's like going to the moon and back. Guess what? That's been done.
Has it though?
It's questionable.
Oh God, we're not getting into another controversy.
Yeah.
What
I just think it'll be easier to get from lake to lake because the Earth is flat. But continue, Matt.
Yeah, no, I'm just worried about passing the mandatory drug test afterwards.
Yeah, we can't do blood doping anymore. That just screwed up days 6 through 10.
Yeah.
Maybe the Lance Armstrong analogy was a poor choice.
That's funny.
I
Your
mean-
timing of which is good, but I do think, and let's maybe revisit this. I think you're probably going to have to do another a podcast series where we look at the map. All right, where we create the stops, where we've lined up the guides, where we've lined up the all right, you can cross off 4 or 5 species in this visit, provided everything goes right. And as bass tournament guys, all of us understand that we are at the mercy, no matter of our expectations, practice time, success, failures. The weather is going to dictate a lot. So the further you get into September, October, November, the weather can really, crap on your parade. So I think there's
The further we get into October, the harder it's going to get up here.
the harder it's going to get, but the better your
and
chances of the
harder
right
depending
fish.
on some.
This is awesome.
I'm saying your panfish chances are going to get harder up here.
Yeah.
And
Well,
largemouth.
The big problem is we like to fish for muskies with panfish. So maybe you can do both at the same time.
Oh my God.
That's a joke. That's not true at all.
So
We'll just
here's
go to Green Bay and drag around a sucker. It'll be done.
Here's what we've got, guys. So we've got so much planning on this. If you liked this kind of behind the scenes planning show, let me know. Let Matt Stefan know. Let Bart know. Email In Fisherman. Let them know that you're excited about this. And I don't know whether to do all this behind the scenes and then boom, we're just doing it, or do we do all these planning sessions late at night live?
You keep it honest.
I think
What do you think, Matt?
The mapping part we should probably do half air.
But what do you, I mean, just logistics wise and everything else? What do you think, Matt?
I mean, I think it's I think we need to keep the general public updated because there is potential help we can get from them. I think it's entertaining. I think it leads up to the challenge. So I think we definitely want to do some on-air stuff, and then I think like some of the logistics and the actual planning, whether that's lakes or airfare or lodging, I think can be
like
done.
that's Sarah and Courtney are going to have to be involved with that, because I literally am just good at driving to a destination. That's it. That's my level of skill set as far as
we're going to have to, like, a very real thing is flights, because we're going to waste way too much time driving potentially for certain ones. Like, people can sleep and stuff in between, but.
So do any of you have an in on like a private jet?
Actually,
mine's in the shop.
Is there an In Fisherman jet we can borrow?
I say that in all seriousness.
Potentially.
I got a jet boat. We might be able to run down the Mississippi and pick you up in St. Louis.
Wait,
but
I can make a call or two.
But wait, really,
are you dead serious, Bart?
Yeah, you know them too.
So if your destinations include this part of the country, you got a couple things to consider. You got a lot of species here regionally that you can catch. Bart can get you into the river where you can cross off numbers of species, but you also have this facility, this In Fisherman studio, to work on keeping these updates live. So you can call me, say, hey, we're going to be on at XYZ time. If we need to plug information into the computer to do that, let's do that. We can do this daily. If there's communication in advance, we can schedule the updates. I say we do it live or semi-live anyways.
Mm-hmm.
There's just, we need to get a rough outline made so that we're not just throwing names of places at the wall.
Yeah, no, so here's what I think, and I told this to Matt. Matt, do you still think this is the best idea? I think we take each species and we make a book of each species of where's the best place to catch it, what's the best, who we have contacts, where it can be done, and we end up with 27 of these books. And then you start to compare the books as to what works with each other to where it is. So then you start putting it into regions of where it is, and I think that's the first step that needs to be done. Otherwise, we're just like this, and this. If you just say, like, if we literally in the next planning session go, oh, I'm on the highlights of there. That's a nice channel cat, by the way.
I know where that was caught.
Really? Hold on, I got to get back to Master Angler.
Those hats look great, guys, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we just go, all right, largemouth bass, blue, we go smallmouth, we go all the way down the list. So we have 27 pages of it. That at least gives us a starting spot.
And we're getting rid of the regions, right? So we're just
there is no, but we're going to pick it based on region.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it has to fall in that region.
And we're going to get confirmation from Thomas in a non-controversial fashion whether or not a certified scale, depending on how we certify it, if we can certify handheld. If we can, awesome. If we can't, not an issue. We know where we stand.
I got a plan.
It's kind of like the forward-facing sonar deal. It either is or it isn't, whatever.
Let's revisit that. I have a plan on a way to get that accomplished. I think that's a great plan moving forward. And we also have to nail down the exact dates that we're actually going to do.
That would be helpful.
And listen, no weights in fish, fellas. No weights in fish.
Hey, we're going by inches.
Yeah.
Unless you got a certified scale.
You can stretch them out, dude.
No, that's right. Step on them. They get a little longer.
Is there anything else? There was an interesting question that said, how many of you have what master angler species have you guys caught? Let's close out tonight then, and then we'll let Thomas and Bart go, and then we'll close out with Matt, because I just want to get his thoughts on this whole thing. I know Matt Stefan turned down a muskie tournament tonight to do this show, Thomas.
Listen, I love bass tournaments, but there really might not be anything dumber than a muskie tournament, and I love muskies too.
Well, it's muskie league night. It's just a Tuesday night league.
That's an excuse to hang out at the ramp later and drink beer. I mean, that's what that's all about. I love muskies.
The guy I go with does it out of a pontoon boat, so it's like it's basically equipped like a bass boat, but it's a pontoon boat, so it's more about lounging around and chilling.
God, we could do a sidebar, and pontoon boats are not sexy, but they might be the best fishing boat ever.
They really are.
Anyway.
All right, we'll start. What is that? Clockwise, or we'll start up in their top left corner. All right, Thomas Allen, what master angler species have you caught? Just the yes or no. Largemouth bass, yes.
Yes.
Smallmouth.
Smallmouth, yes.
Oh yeah, just say your biggest then.
Well, you're gonna ask me to go back. Like I didn't measure a lot of these things. I know.
Oh no, never mind. Smallmouth, yes. Spot.
I think I've caught a 20-inch spot. Yeah.
Okay.
When we lived in
White
Alabama.
bass.
No.
Who the heck measures a white bass? Stripe bass.
No.
Hybrid stripe.
Nope. But I know where they
Bluegill.
live. Yes.
What is a hybrid stripe bass?
It's a mix between a white bass and a striped bass, and when they hit, it's freaking amazing. And if you
Are
catch
they
them
up
on
here,
a
Stefan?
if you catch them on a minnow with a
it's a
spinning
wiper.
rod, it goes.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know those ones.
I can send you to 3 or 4 lakes in Iowa that will have master angler quality wipers in them. Guaranteed.
Okay.
And I
so
know a
those are
guy.
it.
I know a
Gotcha.
guy.
Okay.
So
I
we can do
mean,
that.
Red Ear, have you done the Havasu thing?
Not Havasu, but I have caught master angler. Red
Listen, I'm guessing you've done the crappie and the yellow perch.
I don't think I've caught a yellow perch that big, honestly.
Wow.
That's a
Dude,
huge
15-inch
yellow
purge is gigantic.
That's a big
I
one.
filmed one this winter. They are huge.
That's why I'd save that one for your selective harvest.
so big. Like
I'm in
those
on
are
that.
So big.
All right. Sauger, walleye, sawguy.
Walleye and sauger, yes.
I wouldn't even know if I caught a sawguy.
I don't know that I have either, honestly.
I would have no clue.
Get a hold of Chris Winchester. He'll know.
Yeah.
So according to the saw guy, so a sauger needs to be 21 inches, a walleye 30 inches, a saw guy 25. A saw guy, I mean, do they generally then get much bigger than a sauger?
Yep. You're basically, I think the biggest determining factor with a saw guy is that it is a bigger sauger. It's like an unreasonably big sauger, is really what it comes down to. It may have the white fins, it might not.
The primary difference between a walleye, sauger, and sawguy. Walleye have a black splotch on their dorsal fin, while sauger have a black speckled dorsal fin.
Mm-hmm.
Walleye have a gradual transparency to their tail fin, while sauger do not. Walleye have a solid color. Well,
that pool 4, 5, and 6 are probably your best bet at all 3 of those species, I'd say, of the Mississippi.
The truth about a sawguy. If you've ever come across a sawguy, then you've spent a moment being confused. That's a good opening line. Is this a walleye? Is this a sauger?
Yeah, I'm gonna be that one. We don't want to get hung up on because
sawguys get the best of both fish.
If it looks
They're
like a duck
hybrid.
and walks like a duck, it's a duck. That's my rule with sawguy.
Let's take a look at what makes a sawguy. Oh my God, this is like a freaking manifesto.
Yeah,
Look at the table of contents on this sawguy article.
I was very surprised to see it was on the list and like dogfish or something like that wasn't. Or a burbot. Panger caught his first burbot this winter.
Did he really?
Yeah, I took him burbot fishing.
I've not even ever caught a burbot. So
Really?
you got one up on me. Yeah, I've never done that.
What was the word of the day there, Panger? Just pound sand.
Pound sand.
Pound sand. I've gone, but I've not caught.
Dude, it was the most Minnesota thing ever. We drove up to the North Country, then we drove down out onto a lake where a kid with a mullet picked us up on a freaking 4-wheeler with a sled behind us, freaking threw a big dip in, then drove us out on the lake, avoiding the quote unquote sketchy spot.
Yeah, we had a crack.
Then we got out there. We're listening to music. There were freaking live scope units and Vexlars and stuff everywhere. Everyone's just having a good time. And then when someone hooks up, all the other Minnesotans that are just like,
you all reel up your line and walk over, and it peels out, and you're
and
like,
everyone's there, and then someone grabs it, and then everyone's like, "What a burb! Oh, nice."
Well, yeah,
burb.
but the bottom line is, if you don't got a fresh bottle of Evan Williams, you don't even do that. Like that's state law. Period.
Panger, side note, funny though, for the guy who took us out to burbot fish, Hunter Went. He just won that first Champions Tour event.
I thought he looked familiar.
Yeah,
he did.
So that's who took us burbot fishing.
Dude, that dude was dialed in. He was like the KVD of ice bourbon.
You know, funny story. So I fish a Thursday nighter here in Brainerd, and Hunter fishes all those Thursday nights too. So
Hunter's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Did well down there. And the funny thing is, I fished 30 tournaments on Okoboji, and I've never fished. I've never cast a line where he was fishing. Drives me crazy. I suck. That's why I write about it.
So many fish. I watched him catch a fish, I think, every cast for 4 hours. Whether they were weight or not, it was ridiculous how many
So
fish.
apparently, if we're going to fish for saw guy, the best baits are a mule fishing mule minnow, a Z-Man diesel minnow, and a Rapala
a
husky.
jig and a minnow. You're walleye fishing on the Mississippi River, man. Don't overcomplicate it.
That's right.
You just got to
known
go
for their sharp teeth.
And they are in every good hole on the Mississippi. Like you can be in the right spot. Chris Winchester will put you on the spot.
Matt, do you have a rod that can handle the fight?
It's like reeling in a wet sock, no problem.
The wet sock is a tough one. Just reel and pull.
Walleye are tough.
We need to stock our tackle boxes with eye-catching lures.
I love a good Walter.
I counted how many of these I think I caught, Panger, and I think it's 11.
You're at 11. So Thomas, you're at a dozen?
Let me count. All right, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I'm gonna by far be the least.
13. I can say 13 without having to prove pictures of these fish on measuring boards, but master angler quality fish. So
I can say 10. I'm confident in them.
Stefan, what are you at? I haven't been.
None of them are trout species.
This is going to be embarrassing for me.
I'm up in that 10 or 11 range.
I'm pretty sure the one I have gotten that Thomas didn't mention, a white bass, I'm very sure I've gotten. That's just the sheer amount of fishing on the sand I've done on the Mississippi River.
Well, and really, you want the white bass mecca is going to be Devil's Lake.
No
Well, what you guys don't understand is probably the best. Yeah, Table Rock is probably the best big or late fall white bass fishery in the region.
Can you get a spot there too?
Yeah.
Like, is 18-inch? I don't spot fish. Is 18-inch spot like doable?
So I fished a tournament there before. Like, this was on November 9th of last year. So this is literally when we're going to be there. And I released these. I just brought it in because we had a trash fish pot, and I thought I had a chance until Jeremy Lawyer brought in a 30-pound alligator gar. But
those count. Those are 17 plusers. Now wait a minute. Those almost look like wipers.
Those are true white bass.
Really?
Yeah, look at the freaking lines.
Are you sure?
No, those are white.
I don't think those are white.
Those are hot. Those are white bass. Those are 100% white bass.
We do need a DNR guy.
Those are 100% white bass.
The right side fish looks like a striped bass. I mean,
those are white bass.
Bring up
some of our videos are going to be looking at fish and going, "Is it a saw guy? I don't know."
That's right. You're going to get it done officially, and then have someone come in.
Those
and say,
are 100% white bass.
Those are big white bass.
Yeah,
I think those are wipers.
I think you're wrong.
I would say the one on the right is a wiper, and the one on the left is a white bass.
Nope, they're both the exact same.
Come on, Stefan, you got to agree with me. Like that.
That was bad.
They look a little bit longer than wider. You know, like white bass are a little bit more bluegill shape, I guess.
Let's consult the Google's, Panger. Come on.
I mean, I do know Table Rock is full of giant white bass. I've caught lots of 17-inch white bass at Table Rock.
Hybrid.
Lake Pepin's got a bunch of them too.
Does the Mississippi River have the 30-inch caliber walleye in it though?
Don't go. I wouldn't go there to target it. You want to go to Green Bay.
Well, not currently. They are like, I would say 65 or better % of the field of the NWT is up in Bay to Knock. They are not fishing Green Bay proper. So,
oh, really?
I would say go west of North Dakota, Missouri River Basin reservoirs.
White bass have one dark line.
We can get it done in Fort Peck in half a day.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I got a guy.
I want to get a hold of your guy. I want to go to Fort Peck. Bad. That's on my list.
Yeah, I got that one dialed. Zero issue there. We could get smallmouth done pretty easily too. I know we all know where we could get a smallmouth, but might as well double it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the
And
whole
there's
point.
a
We got to
ton
find
of
lakes we
lake
can
trout
knock out
there.
multiple fish.
On a lake trout.
Supposed to be
White
good
bass
for
have
sport.
one dark line in the middle that goes all the way to the tail, whereas hybrids have darker, bolder lines with more than one line that extends to the tail.
Mhm.
There were a lot of lines there.
None of
I
them
did not.
extended.
I did not see one line.
Here, look, I'll show you.
If
I'm
they're
gonna-
broken lines, it's a wiper, right?
No, this is one line that extends to
Just
the tail.
text me the picture. I'm going to text it to a guy and I'll find it out.
Please do.
Look, there's one line. Whoa.
Those are master angler quality fish. Okay, there is
There's-
one line in the middle,
One line in the middle that extends all the way to the tail.
and that's
Okay,
a.
look, can I see the one on the right that we're questioning?
I
Yeah.
think they're two
The
different.
left one
fish.
looks like a white bass.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Agreed. The right one is a wiper.
And I caught probably 15 like that day.
But I think they're both master angler quality. That's the thing. Like you, if those are there and those are available, then go target them. Your
They're
best,
very available.
your best white bait, your best white bass bait ever is the little grasshopper crankbait. Changed my mind.
Really? A rebel?
Yeah,
All right. This is
I've got one that's got rusted hooks. I hadn't seen the water in 15 years.
this is the other one. Son
Is he
of a
reading
gun.
reading texts in between?
No, you might be right on that.
Yeah, I think that's a wiper.
Yeah,
We
that
were-
one is not a white bass.
Yeah, we were right. Mister, these
Even-
are both white bass, and we're like, I'm not sure.
That has the line, but it's still broken.
Yeah. That's
But
not a white.
that other one clearly had one line that extended all the way to the tail, whereas hybrids have darker, bolder lines with more than one that extends to the tail.
Well, and here's a reality thing too: is the wiper will associate with the white bass, whereas a wiper will not associate with the striped bass.
Yeah, those are different fish.
Yeah. What and I was gonna say, if you look at the mouth, like the white bass is smaller and they usually have a yellow eye. What's the mouth and the eye look like on the other fish? Yeah, dude, that mouth, but look how much bigger that mouth looks. Isn't that mouth a lot bigger on that one?
Those are two different.
I don't know.
God,
We're
what we-
gonna fail this.
what
I
we
would
have
agree
learned
that
is
there's
we need to
more-
get our biologists on call.
Yeah, I would.
yes, they both were super thick, Clay.
Those look like great fish. I would.
I released both of those.
Yeah, you gotta cut the sand vein out, but they're pretty good eating.
No, they
White
are. I was
bass are
just saying.
delicious.
I did. So I think I'm way, way lower than you guys. So I've caught the largemouth, the smallmouth, the spot, the white bass. I
Put wiper on there. We just saw it.
Well, the hybrid striped bass has to be 24 or 20.
Yeah, I don't think those.
So I
24.
have caught that, but
Oh.
I did it at Cherokee in the open,
Good Lord. 24
practicing for
inches.
that. I caught a freaking absolute unit. I think I have a picture of that one too. Anyway, I have not caught a striper that big. I've caught some big stripers at Texoma. Bluegill, no. Red ear. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Crappie, 6. Sauger walleye, no. Pike, no. Muskie, hybrid muskie, yes. 7. None of that. I have no idea how long I have caught a giant king. I have caught a big Chinook. 8. How big does the Canadian have to be?
The what?
9. The Alaskan rainbow. Yeah, I'm
Probably
at 10.
gigantic.
I'm at 10. 10 total.
Well, there
Does a
you go.
grass carp count if you snag it on a 1.5?
Did
Not
you
intentionally.
snag
No, I
it?
was just cranking and then got one and then it went doo-doo, and then I fought it for 45 minutes.
The fact that grass carp and common carp are under the same thing is a little bit controversial because they're very different. They're different structurally, and like, I mean, a common carp is way shorter than a grass carp. So to have them both the same, I think you're looking.
This is a great idea. Put a map on the wall, put the top 3 places for each species, and see how many pins are close enough together.
That's right. And
Nick,
then identify the toughest one within that group.
And you could do that with different colors. So, Yep.
I like
that. That carp could be difficult. That could be a complicated one to get done.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that worries me the most.
Lake Minnetonka.
We need the
grass.
55-gallon drum full of corn will get it done.
Yeah, dude, we'll go sit at Fletcher's. We'll get hammered and just throw corn off the dock.
In
It's
November.
gonna be epic.
They'll bring food to you out there.
Yeah. Huh?
Are there tanks? 20?
Dude, I don't think you understand how big the carp are on Lake Minnetonka because
Really?
you can't shoot them. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're so big.
Okay.
Like all you see on
there's
your trolling
actually
motor going
there's an
around that
overlooked
lake.
population of carp.
Yeah.
Guys, I gotta
And
be at Lake
they're everywhere here in
6 in the
Minnesota.
morning, and it's an hour and a half away.
How's practice been?
Good.
There you go. All
So
right. Excited.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning you got to be there.
Yeah. Today was a practice day. I drove home.
Tomorrow's
and did the
a
show.
half day, right?
Half day, and then we've got the registration, and then Thursday's game day where you try to make up all the money.
I can't believe you're even fishing tomorrow after the practice you've had so far.
Oh, it's just been gangbusters. I mean, the pattern has just been casting. Doesn't matter where.
That sounds great. I'm good at that.
Just jumping in the boat.
Trevor, Trevor Lowe said gray cloud slew
That's
for
the
carp.
story of.
He is 100% correct. That is, yeah. If you live in the
Trevor
Twin
Lowe?
Cities, you know that, yeah.
There's probably one
It's very
carp
rare.
guy that's
I know
like,
Travis.
damn.
Yeah, there's one guy who's just pissed right now.
He's like, I don't know how I ended up on
Literally
this
in
bass, but
the downtown
this
Twin
Great
Cities.
Cloud Slough is going to
But-
be littered with wannabe carp anglers now.
Well, but see, there's the thing. You got a guy that fishes Minnetonka a bunch. You could probably put you on a big carp, but he also guides up on Mille Lacs. So granted, your smallmouth we think is going to be a pretty easy to catch species. But if you want to combine,
well, there
days
a 20-inch smallmouth is in
the-
so many of those fisheries where you can get a trout and a salmon.
I
and
bet
stuff.
11.
Right.
Ryan reminded me of probably one of the most embarrassing social media moments of my life. So I'm on Oneida, and I just had a long talk with the guy at the tackle store. We were all there. We'd had a thing, and he was talking about the sturgeon were coming back in Lake Oneida, right? So I'm out there, and I'm netting around. Well, I hook something. And I hook something, like something. And Andrew Upshaw's like a half mile away. And I call him, and I'm like, dude, I think I just hooked a sturgeon. So he comes over and I go Instagram live. Hey guys, I'm locked up on this sturgeon on a spinning rod. So then Andrew goes live. I add him in. So we've got the 2 views are me with the rod and then Andrew watching me fight it. This thing gets I was up to 1,800 live viewers watching me including half the field, watching me fight this thing out on Shackleton Shoal for it was 38 minutes I was live. Comes up, it's a freaking catfish. It's like a freaking 30-pound channel catfish.
People love that.
Oneida Lake record catfish. I was so disappointed. Dude, I was having a conversation live on Instagram Live in front of 1,500 people talking to Andrew about how when I get it up to the boat, I'm going to jump in because I can't get it out of the boat because it's going to be so big. And you can take my picture as I tread water next to this sturgeon. And it comes up and it's the ugliest catfish I've ever seen in my life.
Sounds like a Master Angler award.
It was 100%
sound
a
like
Master
one.
Angler award.
And be thankful that you don't have alligator gar or sturgeon on your list because those are very expensive trips to run. So I'm surprised we don't have some of those because that sturgeon
We could do
is
sturgeon in my
very
backyard.
Yep, sturgeon. Oh yeah, your backyard. I was gonna say I got boys on the Rainy River.
You want to see this catfish? This thing was literally like a prehistoric beast.
I think.
I mean, yeah, you
remember
told the
this
story.
picture.
Let's see the picture.
Yeah, it was ugly. I remember that picture.
Oh, it's not even that big.
That is ugly.
This thing was
ugly.
so freaking big. Hold on, I gotta figure out how. This thing was a
Stefan,
gigantic catfish.
Listen, over under 12 pounds. Ready to go. Over under.
That was under 12 pounds.
No,
12 or 13
freaking. I had a 20-pound scale.
I'm not a catfish guy.
I have a 20-pound scale, and it pegged my 20-pound scale, and I thought my scale was broken, so I put it on Andrew's scale, and he will verify this, and it pegged his 20-pound scale.
We got weights and fish. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Yes, there is. Look at this belly. Here's what you don't understand. Here's
Steph,
what you
better
don't
be there to
understand.
measure every one of these fish.
Look at that. Look at the dimple on the bottom of the belly. That thing was the size of a homegrown watermelon.
You've
of a
probably
cantaloupe.
caught an 11-inch bluegill too, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
That's a big catfish, bro. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a giant. Yeah,
Not
that's a
that
big
one you
catfish.
caught. That was a 30s.
That's a Matt.
I remember that. That's a very big catfish.
That's way bigger than what you're holding up.
What are
And
you
I still
talking
wouldn't
about?
say that's
I
30
didn't say
pounds.
that no one hasn't caught a bigger catfish than me. I'm just saying that pegged a 20-pound scale, and I went Instagram live with it for 38 minutes.
Did you guys see the belly on that fish? I mean, there's weights in that fish.
Let me see your fish, Stefan.
That's an eater.
Is that what is that?
That's a big flathead.
That's not
Mhm.
even the same species. Did you have yours, Thomas? Did you have a picture of yours?
Yeah, here's my. That's a blue.
That's not even the same species. Show me a freaking channel catfish that's bigger than the one.
Are you
I had.
ready for that? Right there it is. That's
Okay, that's
channel
a bigger.
cat.
That's a channel catfish, way bigger than the one I had.
That is a 15-pounder.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way. There's
Yes.
no way.
It
Panger-
pegged both of our 20-pound scale. If Upshaw wasn't sleeping right now, I would call him and verify. It's not a good picture of it. I will agree. But it was
it's
very
okay.
dense.
That was a fun
it was
fish. It made
very
your catfish life. Yeah,
It was very.
I get
dense.
that too. I'm a dense person.
Don't worry, Panger.
But
When we film this and you catch your new Master Angler channel cat, I'll get you a picture that people actually believe.
I like that.
Because none of
I
us
like that
believe
too.
that right now.
That's beautiful. Oh, it's
I
good.
agree, Dexter. It was a very poor camera angle.
That's all the camera angle always.
I mean, you realize that was Andrew Upshaw, literally like a quarter mile away in a boat taking that picture.
You shouldn't have pulled that picture out.
so all right. Understand something here,
I
Matt
still think
Panger.
it looks pretty big.
It's a good one. Don't take it away from that. But I have to look at and review all these Master Angler submissions. So we do have a few things that occur here that are like questionable. One of which is we love to affectionately refer to as Bluegill Gate. We had a group of people from a state to be unnamed that's upper Midwest and just a little bit east of Wisconsin that tried to submit the same largemouth bass 4, 5, and 6 times. And I mean, they flipped it over and I was like, wait a minute, like this fish looks the same on all accounts, the same cuts in the fins. And so I had to do my research and I determined it to be the same fish for 6
And you don't get anything
submissions.
except a patch, right? And the glory.
I think there's a certificate that comes out with it as well. So something you can put in a frame.
But no, like, so literally every time they would look at that, they would know that that was a bogus Master Angler Award and they still wanted it. The gall of some people.
I'm a little bit of a. That's right. I mean, we got weights and fish, but I did think they thought they could get away with it. They told us, we confronted them, and they told us straight up that it was a different catch every time. I'm like, like the lighting is the same, the carpet on the boat is the same, the fish is flip flopped a couple times on the same measuring board. Like you just knew something was up. So
You're not going to question my catch. That pegged a 20-pound scale. It was a gigantic, ugly channel catfish. I'm staying with it. It was a bad angle of the picture, and do not question my integrity of the weight of my channel cats. I mean, yours was great, but I mean, you also work for In Fisherman, and it's like a professional photo job there. Like they're like, hey, a little bit more so we can get the broadness of the tail.
I love how serious you take.
No. Let's not get into that.
I love how serious you take all the submissions, though. I love the fact that people are a quarter inch shy, and you're like, nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Well,
the good thing for us.
No,
is
we do have a little flexibility.
So fast.
Yeah. All right, show us the patches.
I do have to scrutinize, but
show us the patches. What we're chasing one more time, and then we're gonna get out of here and go to bed. That is what we're chasing right there. The In Fisherman Master Angler patch. Oh, that. Oh,
I think these might vary. I don't know for sure. These might vary by species, and they might vary by catch and release. I don't know.
Is there another one that says club or cut? There's another patch that says club.
Selective harvest. Club. I don't know. We do give away a pike bat. You know, one of those little micro bats.
Just says eaten.
Yeah, we got some In Fisherman peanut oil. It'll cook them up crispy. But yeah, so that's your goal right there, guys. Get a bunch of these. Those are here in the office. Those are right over there. I know where they're at. And I sit at the control panel, the Master Angler submission form. So I don't believe your catfish weighed 20 pounds. So don't submit anything like that.
Hold on. We just gotta wait to see if Andrew Upshaw's still up.
Oh, he's really hanging on to this. Right?
Oh, we have offended him, Matt. We have offended him.
I just want to go to bed.
The best part will be if Upshaw's awake and he's like, I don't remember it being that heavy.
Stefan, are you thinking for walleye and muskie then over in your area? Are you thinking Great Lake or are you thinking inland?
No, I mean, my original thought would be to do the Green Bay area for both those. But, you know, again, it comes down to like other species. If we think we can go to Fort Peck and knock out 4 of them there, then
they're pretty dumb. So
yeah, I mean, they don't see
too many people.
I think the little bit Panger and I discussed in terms of locations, we were talking about like potentially starting on the Great Lakes for all the salmonoids. And then swinging over to Wisconsin to try the muskie, the walleye, the smallmouth. Go down to Milwaukee Harbor for like the brown trout, like that type of thing. And then from there, it's kind of like where wherever we can go to knock out multiples.
There are a number of businesses you can positively impact by doing this, and it's not just In Fisherman, but talk about the guides you might connect with, the relationships you could build along the way. There's a really big opportunity to have this just overarching like positive impact across the board. And so in my closing, I encourage you guys to throw the regions out the door and connect with people in the regions that you can get to collectively and lean on the help. And, I don't like to be guided, but when it comes to a goal like this, get in a boat with somebody that knows and learn something. And that becomes a part of the conversation we have after this. Like if you want to go after your king salmon or your muskie or your pick your species, there are people out there. It might be a resource pool we could collect these are noted guides that took our team of Matt Stefan, the Matts across the country to accomplish the goal. So, guys, this is awesome. I can't wait for you to tackle this, and I'm looking forward to seeing the end of it.
I appreciate you jumping on, Thomas Allen from In Fisherman, and
my pleasure.
We'll get you on for more questions and answers as it comes up as we plan this excursion.
Well, keep me as a resource, a destination, and I will talk trash with the best of them, you guys. So catch a 20-pound catfish, we can talk about it.
See ya. Well, that was it. All right, Bart. Thanks for jumping on. We'll let you know what we come up with. Sorry I haven't answered any text or anything the last 3 days. That's on me.
No, that's fine. But I just have to ask because I mean this is late at night. I know you're going to go to bed, but how? Because I'm going to get no preview of this Open. Just generally, how's Eufaula looking? What's going on? Whatever. Like
It's
general
muddy.
tournament. I'm curious.
It's muddy. 90% of the lake. It's kind of stabilizing. It's fishing really small, and it's not easy to get a lot of bites.
Does this? It's probably not fishing the same as it did last time, but it sounds the exact same as last time.
Yeah, it's totally not. So I think there's a lot of guys who, last time it was low, lot clear.
Oh, okay.
It's a totally different lake. But so I used to always say, and then we'll get off the Eufaula topic. I used to always say, I thought Eufaula was the best tournament lake in the country, just as far as having largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass. It's basically 5 lakes in one, and it's 100,000 acres. After there's been 6 major tournaments here in the last 2.5 years, I didn't realize how small it fished, and I think it's getting a little bit beat up.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you and Mark talking about it for years. So when I first started going to it, I was like, oh, cool. I'm excited to learn about this place and see. Yeah. So,
Yep. So that's kind of the update.
Sweet. No, yeah. Keep me in the loop with this.
Not sandbagging. I mean, I've had a couple good bites. I've had 6-7 hour stretches where I didn't get a bite. So
that sounded like me on the Mississippi River last week. Yeah. But no, keep me in the loop for this. I would love to have a meeting sometime with you guys and chuck a bunch of dots up on a map and be like, where do we actually think we can accomplish these? And like we said, I think the smartest thing will be figure out where we can get a bunch done early, and then there's going to be a lot of travel. Yeah, get momentum, and then there's going to be a lot of travel for like one fish, and then immediately getting back into the travel portion for one fish. Because some of these, like you're just not going to be able to group up well.
Mm-hmm.
It won't happen. Whereas the Great Lakes stuff, walleye, lake trout, like stuff like that, you'll be able to. But some of those, like
we also need to know what we can catch at night that time of year.
Muskie.
I mean, I think everything.
Catfish. Yeah, I think more stuff bites at night than we think.
That time of year.
Yeah. We could probably get your crappie at night too. He's probably just chilling there, suspended.
Never caught a crappie at night.
I've caught a lot of crappie at night.
Through the ice.
Yeah, but they're winter pattern when you're targeting them.
Yeah, it's northern crappie are different. All right, I'm gonna let you go, Bart.
Okay.
I get some sleep.
All right, I'm back. All right, see you, buddy.
Later. All right. Okay.
Go. It was I don't know if we accomplished much, but we started the conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you still all in?
Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited for this.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a blast.
So we've established catch and release, no regions, everything else is fair game, right?
Yep.
We're going to wait to hear back on the certified scale, and our next meeting needs to be kind of a map of the United States with dots, and then we can actually probably get another camera that's on the map, and then we can add to it. And
I like that.
Put it together, and then we'll make a binder of each species and who we have and contacts, and then we'll nail down some dates. When will you know if you're fishing the US Open?
I can look into it more. It would be a sponsor obligation.
Okay.
So I'll follow up with them.
You don't. Yeah. I mean, I would think you'd want to. I mean, that's a pretty prestigious event.
The what? Fishing it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love fishing it. I don't like driving 26 hours for it.
Yeah. Why are you falling asleep? You haven't been practicing for 3 days.
I'm about 55 hours into a 3-day fast. I haven't eaten since
fasting.
Sunday. Yeah, I haven't eaten since Sunday.
Why?
It's supposed to be a good reset to the body.
This isn't a result. What is you do this a lot?
No, it's the first time I've done it. It's a result of conversation came up at the last tournament in our household where Matt Becker said he tried it, and after about a day and a half, he was hallucinating.
So you wanted to
And
hallucinate.
then, because I had such a crummy tournament and I had a 17-hour drive home, I didn't eat all last. It would have been a week ago Friday. And I was like, well, I'll try it. I'll see if I can go. And then the next day I made it basically 2 days, but then we had dinner plans. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go sit at dinner and not eat. So I made it 2 days. I was like, that's not too bad. And then I started it. I'm like, I want to do it. I want to try it. So I did it. I started Sunday, and tomorrow I get to eat tomorrow.
So you have not eaten since Sunday, and you just did a 2-hour live stream late at night?
All I've had is water since Sunday.
Have you hallucinated?
No, earlier today I was starting to feel a little lightheaded, I guess, but I think I've made it past everything I've read and been told on it is like after you make it past like the day and a half mark, you can pretty much go as long as you want.
Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe I'll keep going.
We'll no. It sounded like there was some bacon in that cup.
No, it's water and ice.
Oh, okay. You're past the day and a half, though.
Well, I'm past 2 days right now.
Yeah. Do you feel like you can go as long as you want?
Well, considering I'm going to go to bed now and wake up, I'll be a few hours short.
I know, but right now, are you craving food?
No, I'm all right. I'm doing good.
Jeez, I feel bad. I had an Oklahoma burger tonight from the garage, which is a burger
what is that?
with cream cheese,
Ooh.
bacon, and candied jalapenos.
I mean, that does sound good. Not gonna say that doesn't sound good.
All right, I'll let you go to bed. Thanks for doing this.
We got to plan it out. All right, dude.
Should I do a smoother exit?
No, I'll talk to you later. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, thank you. See you. All right, I guess we're gonna keep doing this planing live. All right, let's throw some music up. I gotta go to bed. We recorded today for Thursday. Uncle Frank talks about a number of things, including how to put together a tournament game plan or even just a day game plan. How long do you stay on a spot? Where do you start? How do you talked about all sorts of stuff. Also talked about the recent fishing article about the Bassmaster Elite Series that was on Fox on Barstool. It's a hell of an article. So that'll come out Thursday. No show tomorrow, Wednesday. This kind of serves as the Tuesday, Wednesday show. So that's all we got for tonight. We'll talk to everybody later. See ya.